Welcome back to the Deeper Issues Nerdcast. We are getting a very, very late start, much to the chagrin of our producer David behind the scenes here. Welcome back to the place where we talk comics until the moment that we have all perished from the face of the earth. We are a couple of nerds to the core talking in a corner. Welcome to the Deeper Issues Nerd Cave. If this is your first time joining us, we are the Deeper Issues Nerdcast. We are a comic book club where each week we bring you a new number one comic book you need no prior knowledge or insight to be able to enjoy. We prefer to feature comics outside of the two most prominent publishers in the industry, Marvel and DC, because there's already so many knowledgeable creators and talented people who can help you with that. We'd much rather introduce you what we call a creator-owned comic book. Outside of the superhero genre, we are the anti-comic book gatekeeper podcast, where everyone is welcome to join in the discussion and nerd out with us. This week, we are talking the new IDW comic, the Exorcism at 1600 Penn. This book looks awesome. If we had an ash can, I think that we discussed a little bit about it a few weeks ago, but let me kind of give you folks a quick synopsis. Kelly Doyle has been elected the first woman president of the United States of America. And boiling political tensions could spill over at any second. Having to balance being a mother of two teenagers and navigating the shifting media landscape, all while preventing World War III, has Kelly spread thin, but she could never predict that the nation's hallowed halls would soon become a demonic battleground for good versus evil. How could you not predict that? So that's the book that we're going to be talking about from IDW. Before we get into that, let's introduce who we have on the show today. Diddy, not here. She is sick and a little bit under the weather. We wish her all the best. Hopefully she gets well soon, Diddy. Sending you all of our love and all the healthy vibes in your direction. So joining us, usually behind the scenes, but now making an appearance, his debut here at the Deeper Issues Nerdcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Tommy Jeff.
Hey, everyone.
In a wonderful Hocus Pocus hoodie, may I mention, by the way. Very festive because we are in spooky season right now, which is also why we're reading this comic book. Tommy Jeff, welcome to the show. The right hand here at the Deeper Issues Nerdcast, fresh off of coming to see, what was it? The serum?
The substance.
The substance, fresh off of coming to see The Substance. Mr. Tie Dye, Mr. Tie Photography. Mr. Tie was late, which is why we're all here. I like how it just like abrupt stop of applause.
I don't get a full applause. I was late.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's get a golf clap.
Look, we can't be places on time. This is why we always say 9:30-ish. It just happens to be 10:20 right now. Behind the scenes, Mr. Enjoy Troy, pushing all the buttons, making things happen over here. Has a little Halloween 3 season of the Witch playing behind him, as well as Dracula Dead and Loving It, the Leslie Nielsen classic. If you guys haven't seen Dracula Dead and Loving It, is fantastic. Because we're trying to get all the spooky vibes happening right in the Deeper Issues Nerd Cave tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, guys, welcome.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the comic and all the news and stuff, this is everybody's favorite part of the show. Ty, how was your week?
Oh, I'm going first.
Yeah, we're going first.
Great.
Save the best for last.
That's true. Very true. I started off my week. So you see this ring?
Yeah.
See this ring?
See this ring? Oh, it's not a good part.
You got proposed? No. So you proposed to Ty.
I just like,
congratulations.
I'm like flashing. I'm like, oh, thing. Something happened this weekend. Yeah. So I've been cleaning.
Guess what?
That's why I was really late.
Yeah.
I was cleaning and I didn't hear my little bowl where I keep my rings.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this went through my foot. And like, I'm not talking like it poked. Like I could shake my foot and it was not coming out. And it's like, your pain receptors don't see it until you actually see it. Cause I was like, ow. And I was like,
painful looking ring.
I was like,
having your foot.
Oh,
it really is.
And I was like trying to pull it out. It wouldn't come out. I was like, all right, I'm just going to bite down and rip it. And I put my hand through the thing and I just pulled it out. And I was like, damn.
Diddy had toe surgery last week. Ty got a ring in his foot this week.
Of course, right before the festival. So
these things come in 3. I'm gonna knock on wood. Hopefully
right.
nothing happens to my feet. David,
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Tommy
with that.
Jeff.
Look.
Tommy Jeff.
I mean, look, it's healed. I feel fine. It's just a little hole. I got the Band-Aid and a little Neosporin on it.
Ty, you also have an exciting weekend ahead of you.
I do. So I'm going to When We Were Young in Las Vegas, Nevada. This When We Were Young is very special because they are all the bands are, except for Fall Out Boy, all the bands are performing their iconic album. One of their iconic albums in full.
Yeah.
So the biggest headliner,
MCR,
they're playing the Black Parade from start to finish.
And then we talked about this a while back. The Used is also there, right?
Used is also there doing I forgot which album they're doing. I'm pretty sure it's The Heart.
They're doing the album that has Under Pressure on it at the end as their secret track. And
Yes.
and for those of you who don't know, apparently there was beef between Gerard Way and
it started as
the lead singer of The Used.
Right. It started as a love story between the two.
Allegedly. Is that
I mean, there's
confirmed?
There's like photos and videos of them making out. So
look at that.
So like if you listen to the song Pretty Handsome Awkward,
yeah,
that's everyone's speculating that's about Gerard.
So, but they've been beefing. They have some emo band beef that they've had for years.
Yeah, we saw them at their co-headlining tour with Pierce the Veil, and he kind of got on stage and said, you know, we never left. We've always been here for you, blah, 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 blah. And my buddy Jared and I looked at each other like, oh, that's a jab at MCR.
Yeah.
For saying the Black Parade is dead and now it's back.
But I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm going to say that they're going to reunite on stage.
100%. I think
Under Pressure.
I think, you know, it's been long enough. I think someone even said like they were saying like hanging out or something.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they're going to do it.
That better happen. I hope it happens.
I hope it happens.
Cool. And then you also just saw a film.
I did.
Do you want to save it for news and stuff, or do you want to talk about that?
I'll save it for news and stuff because I don't have anything else. I want to hear what Tommy Jeff did.
Tommy Jeff, fresh back from not. Firstly, I gotta say Tommy Jeff is our savior. As once more, Diddy was a little under the weather, and she kind of, she kind of let us know a little bit. I mean, like, not last minute. I'm not gonna say that about, but she was feeling under the weather, and she called me a little bit before the podcast, and she's like, "Hey, I'm not feeling too good. I'm not gonna be able to make it." Something about her toe surgery. You know, Diddy's always got. So Tommy Jeff literally walks through the door, Kramer's through the door of the Deeper Issue Nerd Cave. And I'm like, hey, you want to fill in tonight? And
it's the whole reason why I came today. I just knew that I had to be here. So I could sit right here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a moment.
It is a moment.
So
Tommy Jeff is normally our behind the scenes legal counselor. He's the man reading the comments. So
and I'm trying to log on.
Yeah, this is a very foreign for me to be in front of a camera and in front of a true mic. It's not a comfortable thing for me always often.
Really? I feel like you were made to be in front of the mic.
I mean, I certainly can talk, absolutely. But I don't know, it's just something that I've never really always been, unless it's been like a debate stage.
Oh, you're a master debater.
Really been in it. I'm a master debater.
Don't say that fast.
Yeah, he's a master debater. Tell us about your you've been gone to Chicago for 2.5 weeks. What was the most Chicago thing you did, and what was the nerdiest thing you did?
Most Chicago thing I think I did was I played tour guide for one of my friends in Boston. So it was my friend's first time coming to Chicago, and we went on about a 10-mile walk around the city.
Nice.
And I just geeked out about the whole city, like showing him everything, talking to him about the parks, the buildings, the museums, like just every little small detail within like a 10-mile walk. And honestly, like, it just brought back, like, I love that city. For anyone who knows me,
yeah,
I am obsessed with that city.
It's a great city.
Chicago is home and will always be home. And it was just like that, being able to do that and like re-experience that through someone else's eyes.
Yeah,
made me fall in love with that city all over again.
Do you the way I would introduce Chicago to people? I'd be like, "This is where Batman began."
Literally the movie.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
literally.
So we were walking underneath the L on Lake Street, and
Yeah.
he looked down and he's like, "Wait, this is where Batman was filmed."
Yeah,
And I was like, "No, literally in this exact spot, yes." Like,
Hell yeah.
this is it. And just below us is where like they had the whole scene where like the explosion underneath the like underground driving and everything. Like, it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, man.
So no, I geeked out for that. Outside of that, I'm a huge foodie, so it was just good food restaurants, all of that.
Dude, you shared
So
a photo with us of like a deep dish Chicago.
yeah,
I don't know, did they even call it pizza? Is it just like a pie? Dude,
nah, this is a deep dish pizza.
it looked so freaking. I'm not to mention that I'm also just like starving right now. So I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, oh man, sounded really good.
Yeah, so I went with one of my buddies, Juan, because we always get together, and we went to Pequod's. And Pequod's is sort of like a mix between Detroit style and Chicago deep dish.
Okay.
Like it's a nice conglomeration of the two of them.
I was like,
And,
tell me more.
And it is by far my favorite go-to place whenever I'm in town. And then ironically, Lou Malnati's is my deep dish. Okay,
That's okay.
no, I can go
Illuminati's
on.
is like the famous
Yeah.
spot in Chicago.
So Lou Malnati's is usually where I go every time I go. Pequod's is always there too, but this is the first time that I didn't go to Lou's.
Wow.
So my brother actually had a bunch of Lou Malnati's delivered to my house this morning.
What?
So I woke up to Lou Malnati's outside of my house.
In California?
Yes, in California. So
How is that possible?
Oh, well, because they can ship it with dry ice and everything, and it's fantastic.
And
'Cause
you
they
just pop it
overnight
in the oven?
Yeah. And it's 45 minutes in the oven, and it comes out as if you're at the restaurant. Like, it's so fantastic. So
We need to make this happen. Sponsor us, Illuminati's.
for real. Like,
Send us some pizza. Well,
so no, I'm so excited. Chicago it hasn't ended. I still don't feel like I'm here
here you are. You're back.
at all.
Yeah, sorry about that. You're
It's
back
great,
to
though.
real
It's
life.
Great. It's great.
I want to go to Chicago, man. Chicago is awesome.
Let's make a trip out of it. I
I'm
will
down.
show you Chicago through my eyes.
I'm down.
So it'll be the best trip you'll ever have in Chicago.
I'm
But
down.
you gotta do the road trip, no flying. Like how you do it.
Well, the road trip's not necessary. I just do the road trip because I
But I wanna
really
see it
enjoy
in
being
your
on the
eyes,
road.
though.
TJ also doesn't like talking when he's driving.
I'm not.
I
I'm
don't,
flying.
no,
I'm
I
not driving
don't.
places. I've moved past the road trip portion of my life, unless it's in like a Winnebago with like my wife and kids.
Well, that's different. That's a family memory and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm not
yeah.
road tripping anywhere anymore. I'm
See,
flying.
I'll drive with other people in the car, but like once we get like, just don't talk to me. Let me just drive.
Yeah.
Let
Oh,
us just listen to music.
really?
Yeah, like talk to me in the car if we're doing like LA to San Diego, by all means. Like that's a short enough drive. But you want to be in a 36-hour car ride going to Chicago from LA. Nah, I want to enjoy the scenery through the mountains if we're going through like Utah and Colorado. and
Damn,
everything. Like,
Tommy
I want to
Jeff.
enjoy the road. Because dude, some of the best roads like you drive through are in the Rockies. And it's just dude, it's so great.
That's why I want to drive.
So,
I feel like I'm missing out.
so if you guys ever go on a road trip with TJ, don't fucking talk to him.
Bring someone with that you can talk to, because
yeah.
I'm just gonna be there and I'm gonna look at you. I'll say, sounds good. I'm gonna continue.
I respect
Wow.
that. I respect that.
But it was a good drive. It was a good trip altogether.
Yeah. Did the drive there in about 30 hours and the drive home in about 24 and a half.
I
It was
met
all
a
fun.
Chicago native this week.
I don't count.
Not you, but a pretty famous Chicago native.
Oh yeah, who?
Well, I was just there. I filmed a moment. Last week we did Day of the Dead Girl by AJ Mendez and Amy Garcia, and they had a signing at Golden Apple, and I was gonna try to get a interview with them, but I had some scheduling conflict things. But as I was there, I was helping Ryan at Golden Apple work the line, and one Mr. CM Punk,
That's right.
best in the world, big wrestler. It's up on my TikTok. It's up on the IG right now. You guys can see. And I also saw Larry, his dog. which is like the world's craziest looking little like scruffy mutt. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying it's just like I mean, I have a crazy little mutt dog too. Her name's Truly Scrumptious, who's got like a snaggle tooth and a worrisome look, like she left the stove on or something, and she forgot all about it. I don't know, but yeah, I got to meet Chicago. He's a pretty big Chicagoan.
I'll be
Right.
honest, I don't know who this person is.
CM Punk is a pro wrestler. He's probably one of the biggest pro wrestlers on the planet right now.
Okay.
And you don't know who CM Punk is?
I don't know
Maybe if you
wrestlers.
saw him.
Maybe, but I don't follow the wrestling scene. So no, he could be sitting right next to me on the L in the city of Chicago, and I wouldn't.
But
know
he's,
it. I'd
I
be
mean,
none
like,
wiser.
yeah, he's fresh off of a Hell in a Cell match, and he came at AJ Mendez is his wife, and he's this guy right here on the not the tall dude with the long hair, but
He's a short fellow.
the short fellow with all the tattoos. Shorter fellow. He's not short.
No, he doesn't look short.
He's about my
just shorter
height.
than him.
He's just shorter than that other dude who's really giant.
No, dude. I again, it's the wrestling aspect. I don't never
Wow.
seen him a day in my life.
Anyways, that's my week though. That, and then I also hosted a ghost tour.
Yeah, you did.
I was
And you dropped the Knott's Berry Farm versus Universal Studios video. Check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, if anybody wants to find out what I thought was the better of the two, broke down like what we paid, kind of the full experience and what I thought was better. You can check that out on at Deeper Issues Nerdcast everywhere.
So the ultimate conclusion between that was Disneyland won out.
I've gone to the Oogie Boogie Bash, and I feel like I wish I would have done. But I mean, it's comparing apples and oranges if you're talking about Oogie Boogie Bash.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's a whole different vibe.
I was being cheeky because of the whole Knott's versus Universal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Disney
kind of
not
a
being a part
two.
of it.
It's somebody commented that are like, what about 17th
6 Flags?
17th gate or something?
Is
No,
that the torture thing?
I don't know. And
Is
then
that the Queen Mary one?
there's also Queen Mary's Dark Harbor, which a friend of mine actually helped do a lot of the set design, I think, for. Shout out to Dave Carey over at Dead House Designs, who helped out with some Queen Mary Dark Harbor, and amongst other haunted attractions across the country.
Well, they're doing like Universal's also doing not horror nights, but they're doing like a nerd, like I don't know what they're calling, like pop culture fest. It's like D&D, Back to the Future.
That's like a Horror Nights-esque thing.
Yeah, but it's gonna be one of our friends' husbands worked on it, and they post like Universal actually posted
Jamie?
it. Yeah,
What?
yeah, dude.
When is that supposed to be?
It said sometime next year. Hold on, I'll look it up.
I was a pretty harsh critic on the Halloween Horror Nights, but because I just felt like it was just such a freaking cash grab.
Yeah, I went this year. It was the first time I ever went.
Did you pay for front of the line passes?
I did. I paid for the unlimited. I paid for the unlimited too.
Did you do the RIP?
No, no. Whatever the $280 one was.
What, dude?
Uh,
That's what I broke down in the video. And I'm a spoiler. I mean, everybody still go watch the video, but yeah. So it was $269
that's dope.
plus you're also, let's see this.
Yeah, dude.
This is a news and stuff thing, Ty.
Sorry, I don't know. Just
Universal Fan
just got
Fest
here.
nights.
So Back to the Future, Star Trek,
Dungeon-
Dungeons and
yeah,
Dragons.
D&D.
Dude, D&D is gonna be huge.
Honestly, like I'm kind of stoked for that.
Yeah,
With
actually.
the Back to the Future thing when he's
Back,
out.
Back to the Future is gonna be great. They need to bring that ride back.
Well, they're getting rid of Simpsons.
Simpsons
Like, oh, we
Land,
talked
yeah.
about this with David, right? But yeah, I mean, like, I would love just give me some Back to the Future, the ride back.
Dude, right?
Just give me the Back to the Future ride.
I never got to
Yeah.
experience it.
It's
You never-
fantastic.
You never got to experience it?
Dude, my first time at Universal Studios was like literally this year. Oh, not this year. When I got hired on with all y'all, I went to Horror Nights for the first time, and my first time at Universal.
That was your first time
And
for both.
for both, because
What the
I've gone into the City Walk. I just don't really go to Universal Studios. Like my family and I've always talked about it, but we just
Never did.
never did.
I mean, if you're already there, you might as well, right?
Well, I mean, like we would get there at night because we would do like I'd get invited to screenings at the because that's the one of the only true laser IMAX theaters. It's
Yeah.
like Sacramento, LA. There's like another one I think up north too, but it's huge. Like IMAX is big, but this is like 4 IMAXs in one. It's crazy.
Look, all I'm saying, Discover Universal, is you better invite us to this Universal Fan Fest nights.
Dude.
For real.
We need to get the treatment for this because I'll make a video. Because let me tell you, I was not impressed with Halloween Horror Nights. This is something I didn't talk about in the video because I was super stoked about the Ghostbusters thing. And I was like, the actors are way better at Knott's. But what pissed me off is the actors in the Ghostbuster maze, like the dude that's like the Ghostbuster who's supposed to be like the kid from Stranger Things. Like he's like scaring people. Like he's like trying to like jump at you with the fucking proton wand, which didn't scare me. But I'm like, that's stupid. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Your character would never do not understand character motivation or how you should be acting. And it really pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
really
this-
grind my gears.
It really did. I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you jumping at me with your fucking proton wand? That's not what you should be doing. It was a cool effect of his like the proton wand, like the way that it shot on the wall and stuff. And the dude kind of looked like the kid from Stranger Things. What's his name? Finn Wolfhard or something?
Yeah.
And but yeah, he like jumped at me. I'm just like, what are you doing, man? You need to reevaluate this whole performance. Really upset me.
It's interesting that one really upsets you because I would say that was one of the better ones.
It's a cool
like
the
not scary by any means.
No, not
but
scary.
It was one of the cooler like mazes, houses. I
It
guess.
was.
I don't know what are they called?
Yeah, the mazes.
Yeah.
You enter through Ray's Occult books. You see like the Vigo painting. You see the Scolari brothers. You see the librarian, and then there was some cool effects.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the performances of the people as the Ghostbusters where I was like, this doesn't make sense the way you're acting right now. Stop trying to scare me. Just be a Ghostbuster and let me revel in it.
So what I really liked about it, I was there until closing when I went.
Yeah.
So, and they closed at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, all we did was Ghostbusters and Insidious over and over.
Oh, really?
And over again, because repetition's apparently the same thing to do at the 1 o'clock hour in the morning. And why I really actually liked the Ghostbusters, it wasn't scary, but if you actually went through multiple times, they would flip, like certain areas would flip sides. So it was a slightly different experience almost every single time.
Interesting.
And it was actually really enjoyable in that aspect. I also don't think I got the same aspect as you, where like they were jumping out with the proton and everything.
No, why are you doing this?
Like I don't think they didn't do that when I went through at any of the times, but they were definitely tired when I was going through.
I know. Like we're just exhausted, man. Boo. Dude, the one thing that maybe would have swayed my opinion that I didn't get to do and I'm a little bummed out about is Late Night with Chucky. Did you do that?
Late Night with Chucky.
It was where the Shrek thing is, and it was apparently like a late night talk show with Chucky.
Oh no! I didn't do that. No.
Okay, I didn't get to do the Late Night with the Chucky.
Is that where they did the Megan last year?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. But I'll tell you, as much as like it, just none of it was worth the $200. It's not worth the $269 plus the $25 parking plus the. I put that we spent about $50 per of food per person. I guess that's kind of about right. But truth is, we probably spent a little bit more. So like what you're paying for versus what you get, it seemed like they just phoned it in. I'm sorry, but Knott's for the $200. We got the GA parking, you get the food, you get the fountain drink, and you get the front of the line passes. And all their mazes were like, and they're just top notch. But their actors are also so committed. Like even like in the scare zones, it's like they had a whole shtick. Like you can walk past characters and they'd have like their whole little interaction planned out, and you can walk past them 5 or 6 different times, and it was like a weird ongoing story. I don't know. It was very well put together. Knott's for the win on that one.
Yeah, I only did Knott's the first time the year I moved to California,
dude.
And I really enjoyed it because I have a background in haunted houses back in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
I did haunted houses.
We talked about this. We both share a little haunted house background.
So, and I did haunted houses from the age of 8 until I was 22, and I did several massive like production, like really well known haunted houses in the Chicagoland area. And that's when I went the first year.
Don't they do the Haunt World convention? Doesn't that happen in Chicago? It's like the big like haunted maze convention, I think.
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I've never attended it though.
Yeah,
ironically. So, but like having like, if anyone's familiar with Chicago, like you used to have Statesville Haunted House, Dream Reapers.
Yeah, Statesville had a lot of.
Yeah, and you had Reaper's Realm and everything, and like I was fortunate enough to be able to like teach people how to haunt and just be a part of the scares within it. And Knott's my first year here. when I was trying to figure out how to celebrate Halloween, because I still don't know how to do it outside of going to these places.
Yeah.
Knott's knocked it out of the park, because it didn't matter if it was 7 o'clock at night or if it was 1 o'clock in the morning. They were on it every single time, and it was fantastic.
Their actors were so consistent, and which is hard because you're like got to keep your intensity up. And they had a really dope maze called Seven Fingers 9. I don't know why it's called that. The Boogeyman.
You get 7, 8, 9.
But in this case, 7 Fingers 9. And in case anybody's wondering what my credentials would be to be such a haunted house connoisseur, much like Tommy Jeff, for 10 plus years, I worked at one of the most prestigious haunted attractions in the country, House of Shock Horror Show. Oh, look, here we go. I have this. This sits on my mantle. I won this in 2006. This is the Big Balls Award. Because I wasn't afraid to friggin' get in people's faces and scare them and stuff. So I've been around my fair share of haunted houses. I consider myself a bit of a haunted house connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
What
So
makes a good haunted house like connoisseur? Like, what do you have to do? Like, do you have to get into character? Do you prep? Like, what do you do?
performances, yeah, your characters have to kind of have a decent performance. It's like I think a pop scare is like a cheap scare. It's like anybody can
Like a
just
jump
jump out
scare,
and
like a
startle
jump
you.
scares. Yeah.
But I think they're good performances and good, like, kind of a psychological scare. Can you get in somebody's head? Can you scare them by just being there and making eye contact and making people uncomfortable? Like that sort of scare. Set design definitely is another one. What's like the set, the lighting, sound design is a big one where I feel like a lot of people don't realize is really good. And that's what I loved about Not Scary Farm. Their sound design was really freaking great. Like there's some of them are recordings. And I think there was a funny point because there's like a room where you're walking around, you can hear like whispers all around you. And if you like really pay attention, at one of the whispers is going, whisper, whisper, whisper. So like I kind of like sit in the scene for a minute and kind of like revel in it. But sound design's a big one for me because it adds a lot to it. Like even like if you watch a lot of great horror movies, it's the score, it's the sounds, these things that are going to kind of lend, like kind of playing with all the senses.
So you kind of have to use your environment. In that
Yeah,
sense. Okay.
yeah, and then originality. Like that's the one thing that I hated about Halloween Horror Nights is I felt like it was just all intellectual properties.
Yeah, IPs.
Yeah, and it's just like okay, and then also I just don't get why the Weeknd is there.
Yeah, why has it been there for like the past 3?
People
years
just
now?
love it,
I'm like,
but here's the thing: it was probably one of the better mazes.
I won't disagree with that. Now, I will say this, like to your point, like set design and everything is what I always look at when I walk through them these days.
Yeah.
But if you have a room where you've got like a jump scare type thing where someone's coming out of a picture or a door or something like that, if you have a haunter or scare or an actor or however you want to classify them, just in the room, they need to find their way to play off of that. And I think that really either elevates it or really trashes that entire like experience of that specific room. Like the Ghostbusters, for instance, has the constable essentially come out of a door.
Yeah.
And all he did was come out of the door, and it was humorous because it's like, wait, what are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
It's just like, wait, what? Like, how make this yours? And like that can really make or break it. Like overall, a great maze, but
yeah,
not scary.
Overall, it had fun effects. It was cool, like seeing the Ghostbusters walking through Raise Occult books. There was like little things that were cool about it. I'm not saying Halloween Horror Nights wasn't cool. I don't think it's worth the money for what you're charging, for what you get. My opinion, I wouldn't pay that amount again. If Halloween Horror Nights or Universal Studios wants to invite us to another event like the friggin' Universal Studio Fan Fest nights, sure. We'll go. And, just like you may get a better rating from us if I'm invited. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
we can be bought.
You can buy me. It will make to the experience. No, I'll give
I have self-value.
I'll give a real criticism about it. But sorry, Universal Halloween Horror Nights. Well, there's much more things out there, I'm sure, that everybody can go to, but those are just the top two. Yeah.
Well, before we move on, and I want to know how David's week was too, what we should do next year is Fan Expo in Chicago.
Oh, Fan Expo, not Fan X.
I might go to Fan Expo in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Nice. It says C2E2. I don't know what that. Here, I'll just leave it to you.
Oh yeah, C2E2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big friggin' con.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. He's
No,
original.
C2E2 it's a pretty big Comic Con. We should. When's C2E2 happen?
April 11th through the 13th of 2025
In Chicago.
in Chicago.
Is that at the McCormick place?
It is.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, C2E2 is a big con.
Right now, the only guests they've announced so far are some comic creators and a lot of Baldur's Gate. I know that's like a hot game right now. Baldur's Gate voice
Where
actors
you can
are
like fuck a bear and stuff.
What?
That's like the hype around the. That's apparently what people are doing on Baldur's Gate.
I was just like, oh yeah, it's a good game.
No,
that
that's
is
like
something you can, I believe.
that's part of
create
the
happen,
game. I mean, you can get it on in the game, and apparently people have been fucking bears in Baldur's Gate. You do not know about this?
No, Pablo. I don't know about
I
this.
mean, like,
I don't look this up.
That's like all IGN reported on was for like a month.
I just know you can like customize your like stuff. What?
Ty, it's very much
D&D. That's what Kat
and
keeps
you
telling
can
me.
genuinely, so think of our campaign, like
Yeah.
like the
Can I?
ridiculous absurdities that we've done.
Can you be a platypus?
Well, no,
all right.
unfortunately, I can't. But
That's your
you
character.
can you can fuck a bear though.
Yeah, you can. Look, I'm pulling it up right now.
No,
There's
don't
videos.
pull it
You
I
can have
believe you.
sex with a bear in Baldur's Gate 3. You
We-
can now have
People are gonna come on this podcast and like, oh man, they're talking about bestiality and
We're talking about Baldur's Gate.
Talking about
And for
Baldur's
anyone
Gate.
who thinks this is bestiality, I mean, it is, but Baldur's Gate.
It's called interspecies erotica, asshole. Before the Smash Hit game came out, developer at whatever Larian Studios was smart to promote one particular feature: sex with a druid shaped in grizzly bear form. Obviously, the clip went viral across the internet and probably sold the game to many people who
Okay.
just
Not like a
wanted
wild
the
animal.
thirsty, freaky
With a
fantasy sim. It's a thing, man. I didn't invent the game. Just you can have sex with a bear in Baldur's Gate.
David, how's your week?
Yeah, David, how
How's your week, man? I haven't seen you in a minute.
I'm just tired. It's
He's just thinking about having sex with bears in Baldur's Gate. I do know what David does have up coming up. That if you want to find me and David, two out of the handful of members here of the Deeper Issues Nerd Crew,
You guys are going.
where are we going, David? On the October.
we are
26th?
going to the Twin Pine / Lone Pine Mall.
Yeah,
October 26th, 1985.
not we're not going to be in
2024,
1984. Yeah,
sorry, at 1:15 a.m.
literally 40 years
Yeah.
from the detached from the film. Yeah, we'll be there. Back to the Futuring it up because we're Back to the Future nerds.
Now I heard this is the last time that they will be there before they
Damn.
shut down the Puente Hills Mall. So rest in peace. But yeah.
I was just there. That mall's dead.
R.I.P. Puente Hills Mall. This is news.
Dude, it's a long book.
It's a long book. We do have.
We got to
one.
do our hauls too.
We're not journalists, but we do keep our ears to the nerdy streets. Sometimes we read articles, sometimes we read headlines. Most of the time, just the headlines. This is news and stuff. Well, I mean, we kind of dove into it. We talked about Universal Fan Fest nights, so that was kind of in it. Ty is going to tell us before we got actually. I have one bit of news.
Yeah,
but-
go for it, man.
But I mean, no, I want you to tell us about. You went to go see a film tonight.
I did. Well, my only news and stuff was A24 release. Speaking of the kid from Stranger Things, The Legend of Ochi. It has Helena Zengel, Finn Wolfhard, Emily Watson, and William Dafoe. Trailer's out. I don't know how to explain the trailer other than it's a mythical creature. She's trying to get back home and they're trying to hunt it. Check it out, A24. Sponsor us.
You listen up, A24. You fucking listen to me right now. You just sponsor this podcast. You talk about your ass so much, and we love you. Okay? Nobody's gonna love you like we love you, A24. So just toss us a couple bucks.
or free tickets. I don't know. I did see The Substance tonight with Demi Moore.
Is that an A24 film?
It's not,
Okay.
but it is. My God, what a movie! Definitely my top 5 for 2024. All I can say without spoiling it is you are not ready for this ending. Like I know people say that all the time. Like there's always like this big climax and like a big ending. Like, dude, the whole theater was squealing, and like our friends and I were just laughing at them.
What a lot of people are comparing this to Death Becomes Her because it's about a potion, I guess, that makes you
Yes,
younger.
So
right?
the idea,
without
spoiling it, yes, there is obviously a substance that makes a better version of you, a younger you.
Just a better version of you.
Yeah, but
I could go for a better version of me.
Yeah,
I'm like trying to describe without spoiling it, because I knew this movie was like, it's a body horror film, so they were comparing it to The Thing. What was that movie? Alma just mentioned it. Anyway, like there's a lot of homage in this film to like horror movies. Pablo, you'll really appreciate the cinematography.
Yeah.
There's so many unique angles. Like there's close-up shots, and it's like, wow, you actually did that for the film. There's like point of view shots. There's dramatic camera switches, and there's like this hallway scene. I'm like, dude, that's Stephen King, The Shining, right there.
Oh, I love
and
that.
The colors are so vibrant, and there's, if you want to, I'm not going to analyze the film. That's going to take too long, and I don't want to do that because I want everyone to enjoy it. But
it says it's playing right here at the AMC Orange. Is there any reason why you didn't go to this one?
When did that pop up?
It's playing at 9:40 tomorrow. It's also playing at the District at 7:55. I might go see it.
Go see it. No, because when we were buying tickets, because we have AMC stubs,
Yeah,
it only, like, the closest theater were Norwalk or Went the Hills, and I'm like, why isn't Orange doing? I normally go to the Block to watch a movie, and it would have been more convenient for me. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Like, I had to go to that mall one last time, I guess.
so it's labeling, according to IMDb, it's a dark comedy as well. Monster horror, psychological horror, drama horror, body horror.
Body horror, emphasis on the body horror. I will say, for those who are a little more squeamish with needles and body fluids and things, don't, just be prepared, because there's a lot of,
having no idea what this movie is truly
I'll
about.
tell you after the podcast.
Well,
This sounds so chaotic.
It's Demi Moore.
Yes, it's so good. Like, I knew it was going to be good because I was like reading reviews. I'm sorry, go ahead. But
No, but I was going to say the trailer doesn't even give. It's like very vague in the film. The synopsis is a fading celebrity takes a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself.
yeah. And that's what I want more studios to do. I'm tired of, like, Alma and I talk about this all the time. We're tired of seeing trailers and it gives away the whole movie. Like,
my only concern with this is, like, do you remember the movie that turned TV show Limitless with the drug?
Oh, yeah.
With the Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper.
I
Yeah.
hated that concept.
Okay, so but
yeah,
my
I
only
mean,
concern is, like, this is like going to have like a similar ending where it's just like
No.
you're so dependent on that drug or you die.
It's like all drugs, kids.
And I don't want to know if that's
Don't
accurate or not
do
accurate.
drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Don't do
are bad.
drugs. We
Please
do
don't.
not condone that here at the Dip Groceries Nerdcast.
But, like, that's what I'm thinking of with, like, the description, like the synopsis that you've just read, but also, like, you're talking about this with, like, needles and this.
Look, if you really like, are you gonna see it? We'll talk about it after.
I'm not
going
going to see it at all, but we can absolutely talk.
We're gonna go
about
see it tomorrow night, Tommy Jeff. What are you talking about?
All
At
right, I got
9:40.
nothing going on tomorrow night. I'll go with you. Why not?
Yeah, please, David, go with them. Dude, it's a trip. I can't praise it enough. Like,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've seen a movie, and I was like, oh, this is probably gonna happen. And yeah, there was predictable times, like, oh yeah, this is probably gonna not survive, or this is not gonna do this. But, like, the ending you'll love. It's just like an homage to, like, a lot of horror films. And
okay.
the shots, I feel like a lot of mainstream studios are afraid to do. Like, they did it and it worked so well.
I'm gonna butcher the director's name.
Yes, I know.
Coralie?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Coralie? Coralie?
Corral.
Fargeat. Fargeat. I would imagine geet like seat. Geat. Fargeat. Fargay. I don't know.
Fargate.
Farget.
And it's
Coralie Farget. But female director, French director,
Dude, the French are doing it
And
right.
at 9:40 tomorrow evening,
directed.
Pablo and I are gonna go see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna go see that shit.
Go see it. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, amazing. They're her co-star. And then,
Is that who plays? I'm assuming the younger Demi.
Yeah. Beautiful acting, but for both, like it's just amazing. And then, dude, Dennis Quaid's in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like watching this movie, and I'm like, why does he look and sound familiar? I'm like, is that Dennis Quaid? I'm like, no. And then at the end of the credits, I was like, yep,
There's Dennis
it was
Quaid.
him, Dennis Quaid.
Nice. Little Dennis Quaid action here.
Dude, that again, I'm not gonna say anymore because I want you guys to experience it. Then text me or call me. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing in Vegas tomorrow night, but
There's a lot of Terrifier 3 is also dropping, I think. this week.
Yeah, that's another news that's gonna blow obviously Joker out of the water. And they're making those jokes like, if you're gonna do a movie about a clown, they better be killing.
Well, the thing that I'm reading the most of is like people are passing out so much and then apparently also the movie is like banned in France, which is awesome hype.
That's good
'Cause, like,
publicity right there.
Yeah, it's like, well, the movie's banned in France. The French won't even let you watch it. Which is okay.
I mean, like Terrifier, there's like a lot of like like that sci-fi TV type of horror, but it's fun horror.
Yeah.
It's fun horror, and you see like guts and stuff. Like this Substance, it's a little more serious and it's a little more detailed.
See, there was I think the movie where the Art the Clown character first debuted was, I think it was called All Hallows Eve, I want to say, and it had like a kind of a little short of Art the
Yeah.
Clown. And I remember watching it. I recommended this to everybody because I'm like, this is sick. You guys got to see this clown character. And then I remember like they made a whole movie which was Terrifier, and I
Yeah.
never watched it. But then everybody was like, "Oh no, Terrifier 2 is the one that you don't even need any connection to anything else. You can just watch that movie." I don't know if Terrifier 3 is the same way, but
Takes place in Christmas.
Is it? Does it?
Oh yeah, like there's literally like the little teaser release. It's like Santa with like a bunch of girls, and then Art the Clown walks in with the body bag.
Just that performer in general, like haven't seen somebody like do such a good job with the character since probably Robert Englund as Freddy, right? Like to where now he is just so that character. The way that he plays everything is just so amazing.
I mean, there's like Halloween decorations of Terrifier, of Art the Clown.
I'm very excited about that. All right, this is the big news and stuff, guys. The one Mr. James Gunn dropped this image. Well, he dropped like a moving version of this image.
He did like an animated.
Yeah. I'm gonna read right off of his Instagram here. Oh dang it. I had it and I lost it. Okay. James Gunn, Crypto arrives on the screen in Superman this summer. Crypto was inspired by our dog Ozu, who we adopted shortly after I started Superman. Ozu came from a hoarding situation in a backyard with 60 other dogs and never knew human beings. Was problematic to say the least. He immediately came in, destroyed our home, our shoes, our furniture. He even ate my laptop. It took a long time before he could even get us to touch him. Remember thinking, gosh, how difficult could life be if Ozu had superpowers? And thus Crypto came into the script and changed the shape of the story. Ozu was changing my life. What better time to debut the not so good boy Crypto than adopt a shelter dog month? By the way, Ozu today is fairly often a very good boy. But it kind of gives us a little insight onto Crypto the super dog. I'm so stoked about James Gunn's Superman. He's a furry looking dog though, and I think Ty even mentioned, he's like, well, how do you feel that he's not a lab? And I said, I don't give a shit. I mean, the fact that you're doing Crypto the super dog in general, and the fact that he's saying that it's a dog that is like untrained or...
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I was just curious what your thoughts on, because I know internet likes to complain. So
yeah, the internet's gonna come. Dude, at this point, can we just stop doubting James Gunn?
Yeah, right.
Like he's gonna do his thing.
He's saving the DC universe,
and you're probably gonna like it. And from everything I've seen about this film so far, I'm super stoked. Ballerina's making a little debut. How you guys feel about Crypto Superdog here? Anybody?
I am stoked that it is not a lab.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I mean, it very much is like, I feel like a lab is a very stereotypical like TV dog.
Yeah.
And gets all the limelight.
And why would an alien dog look like a lab?
Right.
I mean, it's already bad enough that Superman looks like this alien looks like a just white dude from Kansas.
It's what was it Smallville? It's where he just has no belly button.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was that a thing in Smallville? He didn't have a
Oh
belly
no,
button?
it was that was another show.
Yeah,
There
kinda
it
like
is.
why.
I'm sorry.
Weird.
The whole concept of a show spawned because they don't have a belly button.
What was that? What show?
Kyle XY.
That's what it
It
was.
was ABC Family, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Secret Life of American Teen.
Secret Life.
Kyle XY. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stoked about this. I also just love the image. I love the yellow
I like the
S
image.
on the back. I'm stoked that they just gave Superman trunks back. They're like, we're just gonna own this.
I'm just excited that it's different than anything we've seen on screen, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a different take of that character.
it's a different take of that character. Like he has crypto, but the real question is James Gunn Batman gonna have his dog?
Ace the Bat Hound?
Yeah, is he coming through?
God, I hope not.
God.
It'd just be too much.
It's a pug and it's like in a mask. It's completely different.
Oh, you know what? Look, I don't even have images for this. Did you guys see that? Apparently, they're making like a Jason Todd, Dick Grayson film.
I did hear about this. Yes. I thought it was animated.
It is. So the studio, there's like a small studio that's based out of New Orleans, that uses like a combination of stop motion, animatronics, and like puppetry.
Yo.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to find. Hold on, of course, I'm terrible in figuring this out. I don't know. Look it up, but the studio looks amazing. The story is called Dynamic Duo. The studio based out of New Orleans is titled, let's see, New Orleans. And now I have to Google things. Animation Dynamic Duo. What's the name of the freaking studio? I don't know. Look it up. This is why people should be in the chat. What's up? Make Havoc in the chat.
Oh, what's up, man?
Doesn't care about the dog. Hoping the movie does not become goofy. Let's see if I could find.
It'd be really helpful if I was behind the scene.
Yeah, this is what
Being
Tommy
the
Jeff normally
producer
does.
aspect of it, so I can provide this info to
Right.
Yeah, this is what Tommy Jeff normally does. Is he helps us keep all of our things in track.
So while you're looking for that, I'll
Yeah.
give my little bit of nerd news. It's not comic related.
I know
it's
what it
TV
is.
related. I bet you probably do.
I was just gonna say you should bring this up.
But Game Freak,
Yes.
What?
was hacked
Speaking of,
a little while ago,
yeah,
and a lot of Pokemon information has been leaked, or has essentially been leaked. But like, it's all the beta and like all the pre-final decisions for 3rd gen through, to my understanding at the current moment, 7th gen. And it is mind-blowing to see footage of people actively playing these like beta ROMs.
What?
Seeing the beta Pokemon creation from like the Hoenn region of Gen 3 all the way through to the Kalos region of Gen 6 or 7. And it is insane to see how many got scrapped.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
Lickitung.
How involved was Game Freak in the development of the actual
Game Freak develops the main series Pokemon games. So
the
you have
actual card game?
no, the actual video
Like,
game.
Pokemon Red and Leaf Green, Fire Red, Sapphire Ruby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the Pokemon that I thought the
So
Pokemon
you
that
have
they
three
took were from
companies. You have 3 companies that essentially make up Pokemon.
Yeah.
You have the Pokemon Company.
Okay.
You have Game Freak, and you have Nintendo.
Yeah.
All 3 of them own a third of Pokemon.
Interesting.
Game Freak is the video game portion of it, while the Pokemon Company is essentially like the trading card game,
Media.
the media, the plushies, all that. And Nintendo is just the
Licensing.
the licensee. So Game Freak, with the video games and all that, essentially creates the Pokemon and creates the story and the narrative that the Pokemon Company and Nintendo runs with.
Okay.
And someone somewhere in this world hacked Game Freak and got all of this. So you have like all these scrapped Pokemon that like the speculation of like, oh, all these baby Pokemon and all these like third evolutions and stuff that have come to light of like what they are. And let me tell you, Lickitung from Gen 1 had a real cool evolution that got scrapped for what we have today.
What does Lickitung evolve?
Lickitung
Colonel
evolves
Angus?
into so think of Boo from DBZ, but Fat Boo, right? Like Big
Okay,
Fat Boo.
yeah.
That's what Lickitung essentially evolves into now. But the scrapped version was like this, like really round, spiky looking, like rolling pink blob, and it looked badass. And then you've got like really dark and like Halloween-esque styled Pokemon. Like Cacturn
Oh yeah, look at these
is a
concepts.
cactus Pokemon, and it looks
So
so creepy.
Yeah,
loved
hold
it.
on. Flash my camera really quick, David. I'm gonna hold this up.
And like
Cacturn.
so like
Yeah,
that
crazy
the Game Freak employee that created that Cacturn,
This is a concept art
beta,
for it, I guess.
that's a beta essentially run of it or a concept, yeah. But like that style, I want Game
Right.
Freak to come out with a game that has
With
that
alternate versions.
exactly like that. No, I mean that was one of them, yeah, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
What is this thing? What is that?
I don't know. I
Oh, you
can't
flashed
see.
it really quickly. We didn't
What is
see it.
this thing?
So you guys have a better view of what he's showing right now. He showed me for like 3 seconds. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
like again, a concept of like this dog-like water Pokemon that is very like anime like style, like horror, like enemy type thing. Like, oh dude, this stuff has been insane, and I have been actively seeking out this information, and I don't normally do that.
Oh,
Or at least I haven't in a couple of years with Pokemon. And all of this it's so cool. Sucks to be whoever is on the bad end of it, because Nintendo will probably absolutely go after them. But coolest thing that has ever come from the Pokemon franchise unintentionally. And I think
leaks from Game Freak.
yeah, and I just think it's the coolest thing.
That's amazing.
Like you should look at some of
Yeah.
these.
I'm down. I haven't looked at through all of them. I thought you were going to bring up the other thing they leaked.
No, would you like to enlighten me in case I have?
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna
yeah.
fall down a Pokemon rabbit
okay.
hole though.
So I thought it was funny. What is that? What is that?
Oh, that's Cricktoon Skunk. Oh yeah, the top one. So that was
let's go to the camera.
That
Let's go
was
to
the
the camera.
Lickitung styled like evolution. Like still has the tongue and everything, but looks like this mean like roll out. Like I'm just gonna wreck your world by like steamrolling.
Golem.
Toss your salad.
It looks like Golem. What?
With that tongue, yeah, I'm sure. Like,
yeah,
Remy into a whole new experience. Yeah. But like that was such a cool concept of a Lickitung evolution compared to what we got. And
Right.
like it's so like I understand it's very much a kid-friendly IP. Like you got to bring it to where it's kid-friendly and
yeah,
like
of course,
all that.
yeah. Look
But man, dude, they need to make like not a XXX version, but they need to make an adult version.
This is what we
That's
got.
what we ended up with.
Oh yeah, boo.
And that is no.
Boo.
boo, boo.
Majin Buu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was just dude, it's just been like what if? A lot of what ifs. Like
Yeah.
what if this stayed?
There is a this is nothing to do with the Game Freak leaks, but you can find it because it went viral a while back ago. There was like the German dubs on Pokemon. Did you see Lickitung?
I know what you're talking about.
Lickitung comes out and he goes, Slurp. And I'm like, what? You can find we need to find that sound effect. Slurp.
That's going to be in our little compilation video.
Some of the odd noises. Swaybox Studios out of New Orleans. Shout out to them. Check out Swaybox Studios. And they even did like a recreation of the scene from Iron Giant in case you want to see who may be working on that dynamic duo. Some people are saying it's going to be DC's Spider-Verse because it's going to be just like different style animation, stop motion.
Okay.
But yeah. Dang, now I got to find the Lickitung slurp.
So really,
here it is. Hold on.
so really quickly. So I'm glad you brought that up because that was like, oh,
So it's got to be less than 30 seconds, and we need to also kind of talk
Here it is.
over it.
Here it
we
is.
just-
Yeah, we gotta talk over it. We're gonna get it.
That wasn't it. There's a different one.
I know.
gotta
It's what you did.
find- Yeah. You have to find. This one's 6 seconds here.
Send that to TJ.
Put back here.
That's my text notification for all of you.
Oh
Oh my
my
god,
God.
please.
I would love that. Let's just play it one more time for the people in the back.
That's so great.
Yeah. That character making that slurp would be amazing.
The German language is truly a remarkably great language when it comes to crazy things.
All right.
Well,
is that all our news? Do we
Wait,
have-
just real quick.
yeah.
Because when TJ said Game Freak, I'm like, oh, he's gonna talk about it. You talked about the cool, actually cool stuff that I would look up.
Okay.
But when I went on the internet, I see memes of like
This should be a segment when Ty went on the internet.
it's how I went on the internet.
He
My,
was
vir-
looking for X, but he found Y.
my virgin eyes. There's that gif, the meme of Invincible where Omni-Man's holding Invincible up.
Mhm.
And then it's like him with the beard and he's crying. And it's like me picking Cyndaquil as my starter Pokemon. And then the next scene is Omni-Man crying. It says me finding out what Typhlosion did. I'm like, what did he do?
Oh yeah.
And I went down this rabbit hole. I was like, this isn't.
You're figuring out the
So-
icebergs of the.
So
You'll explain it better.
Pokemon Legends Arceus recreated Typhlosion as a ghost fire Pokemon. Now,
Cool.
this is important because in Gen 2, when Typhlosion and the Cyndaquil line came to be, it was a pure fire type.
Yeah.
So the ghost type goes back into folklore. And if we all know folklore, it all talks about kids or like teenagers, but
Mhm.
portrayed as adults, but they're definitely teenagers and everything. And if I remember correctly, yeah,
Vice posted it.
Typhlosion, the origin of the Pokemon Legends Arceus or Typhlosion is that he kidnaps a girl
Oh.
and essentially impregnates this girl and has
Oh
a
my.
child with this girl.
What?
Yeah, so Pokemon is actively impregnating a Pokemon human with this. Now, that has apparently also been confirmed, but also isn't technically fully accurate. So in folklore, it's more so like Typhlosion brings this girl back to a safe haven and everything like that, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they like fall for each other and stuff. So Typhlosion's being portrayed more as the Beast from Beauty and the Beast in this scenario, and is very anti-social and doesn't like people and just doesn't like communicating. But like it's a very, very interesting origin. And if you do want to know more, you should look it up. But the last couple of days with that running theme, because I think this all started off with the Game Freak leak as well, was because this is where like the origin of Typhlosion came with, because there's also the origin of like the very first Pokemon, the god Pokemon Arceus and everything
Long
like
live
that.
the Helix God.
Long live- Yes. Like there's so much in this that has been stolen from Game Freak, and that is now
Interesting.
all over the internet. And Typhlosion's backstory has been rife with the internet's imagination and interpretation of it.
So from this point on, it will no longer just be Game Freak. It'll be Game
Freaky.
Freak.
Freaky.
Or Game
Yes.
Freak Off. That's one of those
Yes.
popular parties that one
I
Mr.
will-
Sean Combs is having.
I will say, I think I view Pokemon very differently because of this.
Yeah.
Because some of the Pokemon I grew up loving and admiring have a really dark start. And then
Yeah.
you have new Pokemon or like a new take on an existing Pokemon that continues to have a very dark take. And it's just fascinating to like see all of this and like see what they're coming up with.
Yeah. How did you workshop to make all this stuff. That's very interesting.
And anyone who grew up with Gen 1 Pokemon, like knows that Pokemon's dark. Like you got Ninetales and Vulpix that steal Pokemon. You got Drowsy and Hypno.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, those two gave me nightmares growing up.
Yeah. They were
like,
definitely on drugs.
You definitely, and like if you watched the Indigo League and everything, like it was dark. You have a child who's a psychic gym leader.
Essentially like Sabrina.
Yes, Sabrina.
Her family.
Turn them into dolls
and stuff.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Pokemon's not innocent in general, but like I think this just amplifies that. Like I grew up like, oh, Pokemon's become more innocent, and like Pokemon's not become more innocent by any means.
There's definitely some themes in there that are pretty freaking dark.
So I don't know. I have a new view on it. And like I've always appreciated it. But I think I appreciate it a little bit more because like seeing like what they've actually created. Anyways, like I said at the beginning of this, I got no problem talking. I can talk all day long. So I'm gonna shut up now.
Let's talk. No, it
just has to be something you're passionate about. That's why I brought it up.
I'm talking Pokemon, whatever.
In this, it is crazy. And I am probably going to be up till 3 a.m. falling down this Game Freak League rabbit hole. And we will continue this discussion next week because I'm enthralled.
Well, it's funny because like Universal, you were talking about Simpsons going because like Disney's taking that back, and like the rumor that the Nintendo company is going to be bringing Pokemon to Universal. Like I was behind the camera, like wanting to geek out with you guys, and I was like, no, because that's an hour-long segment by itself.
Yeah, I don't. And the other thing is, I think there's a Vice article. So just look up the Vice article, and it's a leaked Pokemon lore include a story of a girl who has a baby with a Pokemon.
And that's the Typhlosion one.
Yeah.
So,
if you type in Typhlosion, you'll get all the results.
This is a fresh article, too. This just dropped on the 15th. Was that yesterday?
Yes, yesterday.
Yeah, holy smokes. So this is fresh. Nice.
Yeah, and I did not just read the headlines.
You did research.
Look at that. See, sometimes we talk about things like this here on the Deeper Issues Nerdcast, and that is a deep issue, friends.
Bro, you're not kidding.
Okay. Before David kills us, let's move on to today's haul, ladies and gentlemen. This is the segment of the show that we have no transitional video for, but we will eventually get one. We're reading Exorcism at 1600 Penn, so let me move this to the side. Few other books that were the kind of runner-ups, not runner-ups, I don't want to say that, but just the books that we didn't read this week. Firstly, let's go with Godfather of Hell. Dario Santini has lived a charmed life as an enforcer and debt collector of a mob boss. He had it all: respect, power, and even the love of a good woman. But everything changed when he crosses a line and is shot dead on the sidewalk. Waking up in hell, Dario faces a future of pain and suffering unless he can turn eternal damnation into a business opportunity. This is a pretty interesting book. This is Vault Comics. Vault being from the book we reviewed, I guess, a few weeks back, which was Lilith. You still haven't seen that Lilith cover. I think you would love that one.
No, I haven't seen the Lilith cover.
Yeah.
That was a really good. I really enjoyed that comic.
Oh yeah,
Lilith, yeah,
it was a good one.
It was.
Caven Scott is a writer. Oh, man, I'm gonna butcher all these names. Pius Bach, artist. Raul Angelo, colorist, and world designs for letters. So from Vault Comics, this is Godfather of Hell. Pretty interesting, I guess. Little supernaturally sort of mob story, which I'm all about. I will definitely be reading that this week. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, issue 5 dropped from Jerry Dugan, Gary Brown, and crew. This book has been amazing. We did do a Falling in Love on the Path to Hell whole issue. I'm sorry, a whole episode. So definitely check that out. Past that. What? Oh, you're laughing at some of the interiors on that one?
Yeah.
I think he showed it to me because I tend to like the same sex sometimes.
Yeah. Well, there's
it's just a funny drawing. Damn.
Damn. Yeah. That
would Diddy if she was here.
That one like
David was closer.
Where Monsters Lie from Dark Horse, the hit meta horror comedy by Eisner-nominated writer Carl Starks, returns just in time for Halloween. I loved this cover, and I think this was one of the other books. Come join us, friends. It's time to visit another gated community for slashers and meet a new cast of horrible monsters as we return to the world where monsters lie. Connor Hayes, Final Girl turned Apex Monster Hunter, has been brought to Site B and expected to be a good little killer, but he will cooperate. I think that's funny that they call him the Final Girl, but because I mean that's technically the term for anybody who survives the man or woman. You're the final girl. And what sort of bone-tingling secrets inhabit the new horror hamlet? Kyle Starks, obviously Eisner-nominated creator of Sex Castle, which has recently been optioned to be made into a motion picture, by the way. It's a 4-issue series. It's supposed to be dark and humorous. Artist Peter Kowalski. Peter Kowalski also did that Violator issue 1, which I loved, written by Mark and Draco. Peter Kowalski is an amazing artist. And I want to say this also may be Peter's colorist that was also in that Violator book. But great, great looking comic book Where Monsters Lie from Dark Horse, #1, out at your local comic shop now. Definitely worth checking out. Sorry. Violator 2, issue 2 dropped, by the way, this week. Since we were talking about that, I will drop that interview that we got from Mark and Draco at LA Comic Con, which is really fun. Violator, really cool, even if you're not into the world of Spawn. What's awesome about this is that you just kind of, I guess, can just pick this up and read it. You don't need to know that much about Spawn. 6 stories here from Mark and Draco of Violator at different points in time by 6 different artists and colorists. And holy smokes. This was, I guess, Kyle Holtz, who also, and Mark even mentioned it, just did like a Lobo one-shot from DC. He's coming off of that into this Violator book. I am loving this comic so much. Once more, I'm not even that big of a Spawn fan. I love Mark and Draco's horror stuff, but this may be one of his best books, if not his best book.
Yo, I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
So I keep hitting my head on this.
It's fine.
So the Where Monsters Lie.
Yeah.
I'm just flipping through this.
Yeah.
Anyone who just likes the graphic panels,
yeah, that's pretty intensely.
genuinely needs to pick this up.
Yeah, it looks pretty
Like
intensely. I mean, Peter Kowalski's art, that dude is amazing.
yeah, like the art alone is fantastic on this.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the story because I'm legit not reading it.
No, I mean,
But,
what
like,
you're doing is what
this-
commonly happens at a comic shop. You flip through it and you're like, okay.
like this art is absolutely incredible.
Dude, that
Genuinely, I'm stealing this.
dude off I mean, yeah, you can. That Violator issue 1, like his art, he kind of draws like a little kind of origin story of like Lucifer and how he overthrew heaven and whatnot. And the imagery he came up with that of like a before humans, when it was just angels. It got me so hooked in the book. Spoiler, a Violator was an angel, I guess, at some point. The girl called Cthulhu was, I know. Let me see. This is Minky Woodcock's The Girl Called Cthulhu. This is what's called Minky Woodcock. The former hard case crime, the publisher of the hit series Gun Honey. The plucky detective returns with an occult horror twist. Sensational artist, author, and playwright Cindy Von Bueller melds her glorious illustrations with an what's this say? Enriched elements of H.P. Lovecraft and Aleister Crowley, inspired by a true World War II maritime operation, shocking satanic events, monstrous men, and one salacious sea creature. This 3rd series tells the tale of Minky's encounter with the legendary horror writer H.P. Lovecraft, creator of the dreaded Cthulhu. A few different covers for this one. This is the one that I found at Comic Book Hideout. So this is the one that I picked up from Titan Comics. Pretty, I mean, Cynthia Von Bueller, I guess, is the writer and artist. Let me make sure that there is, let's see, writer and illustrated. Yeah, lettering by Jim Campbell. So I'm also going to assume that she did the colors for this as well. But really beautiful interiors and classic comic kind of dotted sort of coloring. I mean, I love, let me find a not super risque panel, but I'll just show you guys how vibrant and beautiful this book looks. It's sexy. There's some sexy stuff happening on the inside of this book, but also some really intensely gory, psychological, thrillery, H.P. Lovecrafty sort of stuff. Definitely really cool. Check it out. Oh, there's also sort of praise in the back of the book. Loved it. The art was stunning. Comic News Insider. This may be the best title I've ever read. Eye on Comics. Deeper Issues Nerdcast. Read this book. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever read Good Honey?
No, it's good.
It was good.
Same creator?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not too sure. You got the if I'm not mistaken, you have the cosplay variant.
Yeah, it looks freaking cool, man. I mean, that's the only one that they had. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not downplaying it. It's a cool one. And then this book had a lot of hype in it. Vicarious #1 from Boom Studios. Justin is your young average 20-something burnout. No real connection to anyone or prospects on his horizon, but after a dangerous encounter reveals itself fortuitous opportunity, Justin finds just what life has been missing in the secret world of proxy, young, attractive, ambitious hustlers like himself, who allow the rich access to their feelings and experiences through a cutting-edge technological implant. Does Justin have what it takes to make it in a seductive new world? Yeah, vicariously, like I guess super rich people living through vicariously through new technology, through the minds or what's going on through like young, attractive people. I like this concept a little bit in the vein of I mean, I don't want to say Get Out. There was a movie. There was a Stephen Baldwin movie about being able to switch bodies with people. I don't remember what it was called. But it was like if you wanted to like go and be like have anonymous sex with people, you could like rent a body and move your consciousness into somebody else's body across the world and just go live in their body for like an evening. And I think he transfers into a body and then somebody steals his body and his identity.
Oh, exchange.
What's it called?
Exchange.
Exchange?
Yeah, it's like exchange, but there's no E, so it's just exchange.
It was kind of like a Cinemaxy late night film almost too.
Like the 2000s, right?
Yeah, it was so weird, and it kind of gave me those vibes when I read this concept. Yeah,
With,
exchange.
Colin McLaughlin from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Exchange.
Stephen Baldwin. Young Stephen Baldwin. Also, second printing of issue 4 of Grommets. Fifth printing of issue 1 from Grommets. Ty, can you hand me that one of those issues of Grommets with the skateboard? What's cool about this fifth printing of Grommets? Not the one with the just hand me both. By the way, these are in our comic capsules here. Yeah. Look at that. Because they're signed by Brian Posehn. There is a second printing of issue 1 of Grommets, and you can see this was posted on my story. But the fifth printing of issue 1 with Grommets is actually a connecting cover for the fifth printing. So it's pretty cool. You actually get these two. It's the same. I mean, the artist is amazing on this book. Brett Parsons is like probably one of my new favorite comic artists. But the fact that it's like same, I'm buying like all of the variable printings of Grommets because I'm like, I just love all of this art. I just want to frame all of them. But yeah, second and fifth printing are a connecting cover. Show that to the camera. Pretty
that's really
freaking dope, right?
And so well done.
So well done. So freaking good. So Grommets is still out there. Go check out our Grommets episode. Go check out the interview with Brian Posehn. Grommets is mind-blowingly good and amazing, and I can't say enough good things about it. All the 80s nostalgia, all the classic skateboardy sort of stuff and misadventures of your adolescence captured in this book. And it is amazing. I don't know if you want to... Have you seen Grommets, right? Last thing that I will pull into today's haul before David kills us because he's exhausted, I'm sure. He's like, "I'll just wrap it up." This is cool. Chandra actually went to the comic shop with Ty and I today and kind of pointed this out. And I was like, crap, I need this freaking expensive book. But just because it reminded me, because John Carpenter's going to be doing a signing at Golden Apple here last weekend of the month. But this is Halloween Illustrated. What's cool about this that so in 1978, author Richard Curtis, writing as Curtis Richards for some reason, was hired to pen a novelization adaptation of the film screenplay into novel form of the hit film Halloween. Out of print for over 40 years, you can't find a novelization. It's been out of print for over 40 years. This volume reprints the entire original text from that book, along with a new foreword from the author. The complete original manuscript is enhanced with nearly 100 brand new full color illustrations from famed vector artist Orlando Mexifunk Aracena. Bringing an entirely new vision to this classic horror film vibrantly to life. Yeah, this is the out of print novelization of Halloween, and the art in it, this is just stunning. Look at this beautiful book, right? Beautiful. If you're a fan of the original Halloween films, really, really, really great. Like, just the novelization was just amazing artwork on the end. This is a conversation. This is a coffee table book.
That is very well done,
dude. It is so freaking good. $50 for this bad boy.
And it looks like it's worth every penny.
Oh, it is worth
just from what I'm seeing.
Every penny. I will hand this to you, folks. Look out for it. Just dropped today. International Compass International Pictures. Printedinblood.com. I guess Printed in Blood Creative Media Development is who put out this book. Yeah, Halloween Illustrated here. I'm gonna hand this to you guys so you can take a look at that. It is, yeah, it's freaking amazing.
Ty's like, I don't want to see it, but TJ wants to.
No, I feel like you want to see it.
Absolutely.
I feel like you see it
more than
you want to see it more than I do. And I can look over.
Damn.
I kind of got to look over a little bit of it.
That's just Ty being a gentleman.
Another thing. So shout out to Vandal Volumes. If you don't follow Vandal Volumes on IG, one of my favorite comic book accounts, very similar space as Wes. Like, we kind of just talk about comics. He talks about a lot of really cool indie books. He's talked about grommets. And Vandal Volumes is also just like ridiculously talented videographer. He was in the IG. I think I saw him kind of pop in a little bit earlier, but maybe he rolled out. But I'm going to praise this man's content right now. Everybody needs to follow him. He is doing God's work in the world of comic books. He posted this, basically one of the variant covers for grommets, right? Which is, let me see if I can even pull it up. One of the variant covers here of grommets. And I'm gonna have to, I have to pull it up because now Chuck BB did this variant of grommets. And then he did 25 limited prints signed by Chuck B and Rick Remender. I saw this within minutes of him posting it. Let me see. I gotta plug this website because I gotta plug this artist because he is amazing. Let's see. Chuck B. Grommets. Sorry, filling in. Chuck BB. Let's see. Had this variant. It was a 1-in-10 ratio variant. And he just basically, let's see. Chuck BB. Let me find his website. Yep, there it is. ChuckBB.com. Chuck, traditional spelling. BB. He also did like a couple other really cool comic books. He did Black Metal, Hell's Lord, Stone Cold Lazy. He has some animation design, but in his shop, for a very limited amount of time. Let's see if he still has it. This is, so you can actually buy the variant cover of issue 4 from Grommets signed by Chuck BB for $30 on his website, which is a steal. This is a Grommets 4 cover art print. He made 25 of these that were signed by him and Rick Remender. And I don't know if they're still on his website, but if they are still on his website, ridiculous, because there's only a print run of 25 of these signed by him and Rick. I got number 6 and 7 of them. Definitely going to be framing it. So check out chuckbb.com. Shout out to Vandal Volumes for putting me on game with this one. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to order this right away. Really dope variant. Really dope art. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, ongoing comic right now. And now we got this cool print. So check out Chuck BB's artwork and check out chuckbb.com and score yourself one of these. It's criminally cheap. $25 for this print signed by him and Rick Remender. So
autographs are like $50 anyway.
that's what I'm saying. If you want a really dope piece of comic book history, I feel like this book, and David is even saying, I don't know if they would ever adapt it, but if somebody does, oh man, I'd be all over it. So that's
shoot up in value. I'll tell you that.
Dude, I mean,
dude.
I just
I don't want to see this.
Anybody who watches this just know that I'm not like a collector for the sake of selling stuff. I'm a collector because I just genuinely love this stuff. So I want to.
Ooh, you got number 6 and 7 out of 25 too. That's sick.
So I got to point this out because I found this out on accident. So based off of your Halloween Illustrated, you have a reprint within this, pages 80 through 88
of the screenplay.
Yeah. That really goes over twice.
What do you mean?
You have those pages twice.
It's like printed twice.
Like you go through and
like
you read page 80 through 88, and then it goes back to page 80 and then starts all over again.
You got a misprint.
Interesting.
And like I noticed this because I was bouncing between this. This took me by surprise.
I wonder if that's a misprint.
Like you have this and it's the exact same. The words on this, everything is the same.
I'm wondering if that's a misprint of that book.
So either way is fucking cool.
Yeah, that is cool. What?
But I'm just going through it. I was looking at Ty and I was like going through
and I was like,
why?
No, maybe it's no, you're right.
And then I was reading it, and then I was looking at the page numbers and they were identical. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what kind of like oh my god, Truman Show am I living in right now?
Yeah.
Like, where it just goes back and it's like you are forever groundhogging this moment.
Oh, maybe that is that just dropped today.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is like on all of them. I don't know if this is intentional, but I think this is I just want to point it out because I thought it was really cool.
Now we got to look this up.
But pages 80 through 88 are repetitive.
Illustrated misprint.
82 through 88. I apologize.
82 through 88. Let's see.
Yeah. And then it just goes through the exact same pages.
Printed in blood. Nice printed in blood selling the $100 version.
And then you finally continue going through the rest of them.
I don't see anybody's posted about that yet. But I'm sure we'll find out here on the internet if other people have gotten that. Crazy. Well, that was today's haul, ladies and gentlemen. All the cool things you can find at your local comic shop or from Chuck BB's website. Oh, what'd you get, Ty? You got a haul?
I got some real cool stuff. I've been looking at it throughout the
whole Ty got something not a number. Well, you get a number 1 reprint here.
I got 2 number 1. Well, yeah, technically these are both reprints. It's you bought one too. Where's yours?
Yeah, I got the noir one, but I just didn't. I don't know.
I know it's not indie publisher, but DC did. They did a bunch.
I mean, this is a weird thing.
Yeah, it's Batman meets Elmer Fudd, and it's like a very serious take on Elmer Fudd. They're like solving a murder.
It's like a one shot.
It's like a one shot. Yeah, they did Wonder Woman with Tasmanian Devil. They did the Shark with Aquaman.
Yeah,
with all the Hanna-Barbera characters. But yeah, it's like very serious. Like Batman and Elmer Fudd are fighting. Which I thought was great.
Yeah, rabbit season. Bat season.
Oh, nice.
If that line is not in that comic book, there better be a bat season line in there.
I haven't read it all, so
I got the noir version, which is just black and white, but the art in it is cool. Beautiful.
Yeah, artwork's beautiful. From 20th Century Studios, Aliens versus Avengers. This is the reprint, and this is like kind of like the spoiler, which
spoilers.
Like the reason why I picked it up because it's that scene right there. The face hugger latches on to Miles, and the symbiote merges with the face hugger, and he gets a new suit. And
interesting.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be like 50 years, so all the characters are a little bit older. Miles is an adult now.
Interesting. But Miles has a symbiote suit? In this?
It's funny because it's his black and red suit. Again, I didn't get to read all of it, but I think he has a symbiote on him because it merges with the face hugger.
Nice. That's a reprint because that was a hot book.
It was a hot book because of all that. And plus, like Alien Romulus just came out. And then I was really stoked. The fine folks found me the Decompression in a Wreck. This was actually 2 comics as a connecting cover, but they just kind of put it in one book.
Yeah.
For the price of $2 anyway. Normally books are like $3.99. This is $7.99. So
So-
you get 2 stories.
Ice Cream Man, for those of you who don't know, it's an anthology book, right?
Yes and no. The
Yeah.
first, a lot of it starts as an anthology, but the idea of Ice Cream Man, there are like certain references to older books, but you don't need to know that.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, like you really need to read this when you're in like a good headspace. Because I'm like, oh, Ice Cream Man's really good. I go to my brother, he's like, dude, this is depressing. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point.
But all the stories are just woven in because of the Ice Cream
Ice Cream Man, yeah, he's like evil incarnate.
Yeah.
Maybe he's sometimes he's an angel, sometimes he's the devil, you know, causing havoc, or he's there when something happens.
Demons to some, angels to others. No, Hellraiser line or something.
Hellraiser, yeah.
Yeah. That book I've never gotten. I think I have like the first like 5 issues too, floating around here somewhere.
Number 1's worth some money.
Is it?
Oh yeah, dude. I
I
remember
for sure have it.
when the pandemic started, they did like the quarantine special, and everyone was like freaking out over that. You can get it now. But if you want to read it, I have the Sunday edition, so it's signed by him.
Maybe we'll give it away.
No,
Would that be crazy? We're crazy here.
I was like, what?
Let's get on to our main event here.
It's a long one.
It is a long one, and we're gonna try to get through it because we're about an hour and a half in here.
Yeah, it's
David's not even paying attention
I'm
anymore.
trying to go home.
David's like, guys, just get. Oh, come on.
Mr. Krabs, I want to go to bed.
Yeah. So the Exorcism at 1600 Penn. Kelly Doyle is an actor. No, I'm sorry, not Kelly Doyle. That's the
I was gonna say that's Madam President.
Hannah Rose May, the writer for this, is an actor. Famous, well, also comic book writer. Wrote Rogues Gallery, but I want to say famously from dang it, Hannah Rose May. Yeah, if you Google Hannah Rose May, famously from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yep. Known for Ghost 2021. I don't know if I ever saw that. Also Exploited, Nova Vista, The Way the Future Was, Ballers, for those of you baller fans out there. This is a show with The Rock on HBO.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, famously from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hannah Rose May, also comic book writer, wrote this book. Vanessa Del Rey does the art, which is beautiful. Jordi Belair. Jordi Belair is also a writer as well. What else did Jordi Belair do? I want to say, let's see. Jordi Belair was also a writer on oh yeah, a colorist on True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys.
That's right. We did talk about this.
Yeah. So Jordi Belair's writer / colorist, similar to not too long ago, we kind of talked about Lee Lowridge. Black Widow, Hellblazer, Wonder Woman Evolution, some Detective Comics. They're Not Like Us, Headlopper. Let's see, Future State. And then letters by Hassan Otsman. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Elowu? This is kind of a fitting book because not only are we in spooky season, but this is also an election year, and everybody is just getting as political as it gets around here, right? We different covers. You can see I'm holding a cover. Ty's got a different cover here. Tommy Jeff's got cover A. Tommy Jeff's got cover A.
And what's cool in the back of the book, it tells us.
Yours is cover B, right? Is that what this is? Or
yeah, so TJ has Vanessa Del Rey. That's the main cover.
Mhm.
I am holding arts by Jock. They do a lot of variants. They do a lot of the Batman books.
Jock also has that like Gone. from Distillery right now. It's pretty hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the Vanessa Del Rey also has a cover C, but as we found out at the comic book store, there is a foil variant that's
Yeah,
like
it's a-
$12.99. Like it's higher than
It's $13.
$13.
Yeah, so it's cover A but foiled.
No, it's cover
Oh, I'm sorry.
cover C but foiled.
Sorry, cover C but foiled. Yes.
And then you have the ratio variant.
Yeah, this is a 1 in
15.
15.
Yep.
I think this is. Let me tell you, I think this book is going to be like. I see. I don't know about. I want like limited series on this. Like this is like a TV series in the making.
100%.
Hefty book. We're Tommy Jeff in filling in. He's like last minute, just like, all right, come on, read this book. It's 52 pages. Traditionally, a comic book is about 32 pages. This is 52 pages.
And it's worth every single page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
$4.99. I want to say for if you're buying one of the regular.
You can't go wrong with this cover.
Yeah, that cover is
I'll
amazing.
say,
Cover A.
I believe cover A is, out of all of them, is in my opinion the best cover.
I don't know, dude.
I like yours, but like mine, I feel like really does fit it so much better.
It does.
I
mean, Vanessa Del Rey
yours has, because yours has like it underneath the Resolute desk and everything like that, and that's super cool. But I feel like this one really does give that like feel.
Yeah. Because she, I guess Vanessa Del Rey, this is why artists are such big contributors and co-creators of comic books, is because they understand, like, there's a special synergy between the writer and the artist.
Mm-hmm.
This is like once more why like Bill Finger should be there with Bob Kane and creating. This is why Jack Kirby should be there with, Stan Lee. This is why Tony Moore was credited later on for The Walking Dead, because Tony Moore helped kind of create or lay down kind of an aesthetic.
Yeah. And having read this, I feel like Vanessa honestly captured it.
Yeah.
Brilliantly.
So good. Let's get into it. So we open at the inauguration of our new first female president. A little foreboding here. We'll see how that plays out in November. We're hopefully
not to make this political, but go vote if you have not voted.
Yeah.
Vote. I don't care who you vote for, just go vote. That is the biggest thing.
Do you not care who they vote for, though?
I will not give my political opinion on this, but please go vote. Your voice matters, and I cannot stress that enough. Your voice matters. I will end my soapbox.
I care about who you vote for. I was just gonna say that, but
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, because you should vote for who. If you're doing it the right way, you should be voting for who you think is the best candidate.
Yeah, there you go. So Kelly Doyle just been elected as the first female president in this. So we open up in the inauguration, giving a very sort of riveting speech here. I wish normally I have the kind of breakdowns. Vanessa Del Rey's art, and then obviously Jordi Belair's colors complement each other so well. Create kind of almost paint like a really like bleak imagery. It looks like a weird foggy sort of day. I mean, literal black clouds over the Capitol here.
Mm-hmm.
A little foreboding sort of feel here. We're gonna glaze the shit out of this book probably for the next 20 minutes because it was so great.
Yeah.
So kind of giving the traditional sort of inaugurational speech, we're introduced to what's the term for the first man, the first gentleman?
First gentleman.
We're introduced to the first gentleman. We're also introduced to Kelly's two kids, Mara and then Kevin. And Kevin's kind of busting Mara's chops, which he does plenty of in this book, about like, hey, like, why are you filming this? Because she's filming from her phone, and talking about like, hey, like every major press publication is here. Why does your angle matter so much? Which I feel is kind of like there's a little bit more to this. What do you guys have, before I just dive into the book, any opening thoughts or feelings kind of about this first couple panels and artwork and first page?
The first page at the inauguration, I think kind of like again, because I didn't know anything about this, and I walked in like 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live, not having read this, and quickly
What are you
had to
talking
read
about?
this.
We're so prepared here.
Story. Yes, everyone normally is.
Ty was the
however,
most prepared
not.
one.
Yeah, I read.
It was a very like doom and gloom, and I was like, oh, okay, like we're really gonna like just jump into this is what I kind of expected.
And then boom.
And then you do the first page flip into the story. And one thing that stood out to me, and this might be just the hopeless romantic in me.
Oh yeah.
But every scene every scene with Madam President and the First Gentleman, when the utensils to eat is not in their hands, they're holding hands.
Oh.
And I think that actually sends a very powerful message throughout this to how they are as parents. And it is notable to how they are to the kids throughout this. And it's kind of really like impressive, but also goes to show like how difficult her job is being in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
And having 2 kids that seem to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I did read it really fast, in high school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're in high school.
And like that difficulty with it and being a parent and now being the first woman president, and to see the marriage start off strong like that, I loved.
Yeah, I love that too. And that's important. Like I feel like people don't, I'm sure like you're gonna be like, oh, the first lady or the first gentleman or whatever. As somebody who is I know I'm sitting here doing comics, but my wife does very important stuff around our city, very involved. Just before this podcast, actually, we had firefighters here from the city, like sitting in his space talking.
Now you have us nerds.
No, yeah, right.
What a downgrade.
No, that's an important role, man. Being supportive of your spouse, being supportive of, especially somebody who's literally like the leader of the free world, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked that dynamic as well. You can tell that they have like the way that the writer kind of fleshed out these characters, and the way that Vanesa Del Rey kind of puts those little details in there, for sure. Does a really good job in laying out these characters, or making you feel or understand their dynamic and relationship very quickly.
Yeah, and then the other thing, I'll hand it off to Ty if he has opinions too, because I know he does. But
It's okay, take your time.
I don't have social media, so
Yeah.
seeing all the thumbs up and the likes and the dislikes and
yeah.
everything was like actually really jarring for me, not in a bad way, but it just took me by surprise. And I was like, oh yes, because everyone else is so involved in social media.
Yeah,
that,
man.
like seeing that so prevalent and on that first turn too was just like, oh wow, okay.
Major part
And
of it.
like that added so much more emotion than I anticipated it to.
Yeah. Ty.
No, I'm gonna ride that wave. I love, and it's kind of getting ahead of ourselves. I love that the fact it's not traditional paneling. Like I love that. I
Yeah.
love that border, because when you flip to the next page, like say Marcus, right?
Yeah. Kevin.
Kevin, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kevin's
Mara
head.
is the girl.
Mara, yeah. Kevin's head is leaking into the other panel.
Yeah.
And I really like, and like multiple times, and then again with the whole social media thing, there's other instances where things will, if it's important to the story, they highlight it there.
Yeah.
And I think not enough comic book creators and writers are utilizing that space between panels.
Man, I agree. The paneling in this book and the flow of it,
It's
and like
so fluid.
it's so fluid. Like I so understand where, because it's not traditional panels, but I definitely understand where to go to next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's across, sometimes it's up and down.
And it's done so well. So I don't know who to credit that to. I don't know if that's a Vanesa Del Rey decision,
Right.
or if that's like an editorial decision, because there's editorial assistants here, and then designed by Nathan Whittick, editor Heather Antos, editorial assistant Cassandra Jones. Obviously, those people are credited for a reason. So I don't know what their level of involvement is in that, but yeah, you're 1,000% right. I loved that about this book. It is so fluid and such an original panel layout. Even one of the panels is literally all just the thumbs up and
right
social media logos,
which was so jarring.
Yeah.
Well, and so quickly you find out. So
like, you know that's the character.
Yeah, Mara is very obsessed, because Mara is the first daughter of the president. Her bodyguard is not Sinbad, unfortunately, but I would really like that. No, but Mara's the first daughter of the president, and quickly obsessed with the media's opinions and perspectives
Right.
on her mother's handling of and the theme of the book is like, okay, your first 100 days as a president is
Yeah.
the most important aspect of it. So she is like all over the news, like people being hypercritical of her mom, and it's becoming an obsession so much they use the term doom scrolling. We all
Which,
kind of know
which
it.
is all we all do,
Yeah, we all
except for Tommy Jeff.
except for Tommy Jeff, which is good. Which is why
He allocates his time properly,
yeah.
unlike
Do
us.
I?
But there's like an obsessiveness very quickly you learn here. There's a nice kind of family dinner of them talking about, just like setting up their family dynamic. And then the school that they're going to be going to, which is, of course, classic exorcism story. Yeah, Catholic school.
Yeah, the Catholic school.
You gotta add that element in there because that's like
It can't be an exorcism story without.
Right.
without all the Catholic like iconography and stuff like that. I agree. Very quickly, I mean, Kevin's, let's face it, kind of an asshole to his younger sister.
Yeah.
You really have two very, very different
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah. Stark contrast between the two.
Yeah.
One's very social out
Wanting
there.
to please everyone.
Yeah. Trying to fit in.
Yeah. And then Mara is very much like a loner. It's really sad. And somebody takes a photo of her sitting. So her brother, quickly they kind of like get acclimated into their private school, and everybody's like, oh, these are, the freaking kids of the president. There's obviously status there. And Kevin's not afraid to flex that status
Oh yeah.
and quickly befriends the people who are, I think they even use the term clout chasers
Yeah.
in here, right? So he's like, hey, I know who my tribe is and I know who I'm going to go after. While Mara's very much not into that. Somebody snaps a photo of her like sitting alone at the table. Maybe President Doyle should be in isolation like her daughter. And then somebody says, what are those? Table for one, please. So yeah, very big contrast from the get-go of the two characters. And then cut to once more very interesting original paneling here.
Yeah, I really like the paneling on this because none of it's confusing.
Yeah.
All of it makes so much sense.
It
But if
does.
you do a quick look at it, it's overwhelming.
It
And then
is.
you start reading it, and all of that just goes to the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, also very like text thick book,
Yeah.
right? Like a lot of text in the book. And I know normally you'd be like, oh, that's not, but it's done so well between the layout, the art, and the way that the text works. It doesn't feel that way. But it is, I mean, it's dense subject matter, and it's very much creating the unfolding of a story or setting things up for you. Once more, I should preface, if you're complaining that we may be spoiling an issue 1 of a comic book, this is what issues 1s are meant to do, is they're meant to draw you in. So they just kind of lay things down, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that it's going to be, this is the end of the book. So it's not,
Right.
I don't know.
And
And
I'll
I-
throw in there. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna throw in there, like you said, everyone has a voice. Everyone has a decision.
Mhm.
If they like what we're hearing, you can stop the podcast and revisit it.
Don't
once.
stop the podcast.
No, revisit the episode. Revisit the episode.
Pause here.
Pause here. Go buy the book. Go support your local comic book store, and then then read it. What is? I can't read the comment.
Sorry, Cosmo in the chat. This guy.
So I was gonna say
the
pretty
IG
much the
chat.
same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing is like we talk about this. We're obviously going page by page right now, but there is so much that is just is great. Like, read it
Yeah.
because we're doing it justice, but like it is so much better in your hands.
100%.
Yeah, I have to show off these panels really quick because, like, once more, we're talking about the original paneling. I know this is like a weird layout for a panel in a comic, but I love it. And then this is the first time there's a statue in, I don't know what office this is.
What
There's-
page are you on?
And so this is obviously giving me like
No, he's not.
Pazuzu.
You're not on this page.
No. The page with the kids then kind of like hang out in a recreational room.
Hmm.
Right. That was the thing in The Exorcist, was the like little statue or whatever. And the Pazuzu, is it Pazuzu that's in the
I think,
Exorcist?
I think it's a study.
Yeah, so it's a study, and then there's a little statue, and then also really great job with the artist and colorist kind of throwing in things in the background, throwing in details, throwing in demonic faces that kind of appear to the book because it is an exorcism book. So
So this is the page where, because I never actually looked at the cover when I started reading this. So this is the page where like I got to this page and I read the next page, and there's a couple of really good details in it that made me stop and that had me a bit confused until I looked at the cover.
yeah,
And I think this is also why I love the cover A
Yeah.
more than all the others, because I knew what I was reading, but it didn't register for me at the time.
no, it doesn't.
And
Right away,
then-
right?
And then like I got to this, I saw certain images within the panels, and then I closed it and I looked at it and I went, oh my God,
Yeah,
that's so good.
dude,
Like that tie-in from the cover to this
Yeah.
nice.
is so great.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, like a literal picture, but they do a good job in like creating atmosphere, creating a vibe here, if you will.
Mhm.
Like I can almost um feel the uncomfortable silence sort in certain sort of spaces that you would kind of, or like I can imagine, or like almost even feel like a deep swelling
Mhm.
kind of sound as you're like in some of these spaces that create that weird discomfort. So great job once more to the writer and the artist and the colorist and kind of helping do that.
Yeah,
Um,
genuinely.
100%. And sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like I kind of mentioned this in one of our previous episodes, kind of going back to this page.
Yeah.
It's the definition of a close-up shot. And I like that it's an oval, like
Yeah.
the Oval Office. I think what makes a book really fluid is that you can read this as if you're watching a movie. So like this is like transitioning into different scenes, and on the next page it's the close up of the phone, like which they would do in a film.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they kind of pan out, and then there's scenes where like there's text in the air, like what she's saying, again, what most movies do.
Yeah.
And I think that's how this book reads as a movie. And like you said, this would be in a fantastic limited series.
Back to what you were mentioning too with fluidity, it's like the cuts, the pacing on
Yeah.
this, really well paced. 52-page book does not feel that way. And then back to what Tommy Jeff was saying, there's this kind of adorable moment of this couple here, the first gentleman and first female president, just being a loving husband and wife. So yeah, obviously very loving family, which also I think creates that aspect and that dynamic when the bad things do happen. Clearly very likable, genuine folks you don't want to see this sort of thing happen to. So it adds a new layer to it.
There is, and I might be getting ahead, but talking about that loving family, and no, it is the page before this. The first gentleman looks at Kevin and essentially just says, "We need you to look out for your sister,"
Which he does not.
and he does not.
Which is-
But he's got his own thought process that he doesn't say out loud, and
Yeah.
he says, "And who is watching out for me?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is very much a valid emotion as a child
Mhm.
also. And then what's very interesting is Madam President goes to Mara, her daughter, and essentially says the opposite. You need to watch out for your brother.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
it's-
should, right? You should watch out for each other.
yeah, essentially doing the standard like parent thing, like we rely on you. And like that moment is showcasing like that human aspect that I feel like people forget about other people.
Yeah.
I think like I don't know. I think this is part of why I enjoy this so much is the human element of this. It's not just
Yeah.
like it's a story,
Yeah.
but there's so much life.
Yeah. They do also a really good job. I mean, like, look, the age that no fault to Kevin or Mara, like you're kind of like at a selfish age at that point,
Oh,
right? Like you're like
that
you
is
are
high
the
school.
center of your own universe kind of thing. You're the main character.
Nobody matters but you.
Yeah, exactly. So no fault to these characters. They're just kids, high school kids, who just have an insane amount of fame thrust into their lap, and they're adapting based on their personality types, and they're just both very human teenage reactions.
Mhm.
I think. I mean, different levels of teenagers. I also love this nice contrast of like the kids at like is it soccer practice or yeah, it's a
Yeah,
soccer
soccer.
practice. And then cutting to like Madam President Kelly Doyle there at the like press conference and like the sort of questions that are getting tossed at her. So kind of two games, if you will, side by side, watching the kids play this social structure game plus an actual game, plus and then the game of politics and answering questions diplomatically or presidentially in a press briefing. I think was a pretty cool. I don't know. I'm gonna assume that's very intentional, but I like almost the contrast between those two scenes. It's like a lot of busyness. It's like almost like you're like very quickly they're like showing you the busyness and all that comes with these roles and positions and whatnot that all these characters have been put in. This is kind of the next page here. You get to Kevin in a cathedral, up to something. I don't know. Did we really see what he's up to? Not really, huh? He's
We
kind
do find out what it is.
Oh yeah, but just not at this point though.
They did a really good job of concealing it. I think you can kind of get the gist of what's going on.
Yeah, because how he's angled.
Yeah, but they did do a good job of concealing it.
Yeah, and this is like a moment here where Mara's kind of expressing of like, we're all kind of all under a microscope, right? We're all kind of being watched. So whatever you're kind of up to, like, please don't put us in a situation where we're going to make our family look bad. And that's true, right? Like, I mean, once more, not to get political, but look at just, for example, like Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Donald Trump Jr., Donald Trump, like you're going to be judged on your family. Right. And they're very aware of that. And Mara's even kind of expressing concern of like, you're letting your friends manipulate you. And then this is the saddest part, actually. I feel so bad.
Yeah.
At this point, because then Kevin's like, this is why nobody wants to be friends with you, Mara. You're such a bitch. And it's just like this really sad moment. Cause just while before it's like, hey, look out for your siblings.
Right.
And then you kind of get this like cold, kind of, and kids can be cruel.
Yep.
Right.
And she's doing her best to look out for him and the family, and he's just like, I don't care. I want these friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's more heartbreaking because he's the only connection she has.
That's it.
And it's like
she's isolated.
Now she really is alone. And I think that's why going to the next page, whatever this is, it's feeding into her.
Yeah, it intensifies it a little bit more.
She has no one. She's just doom scrolling. She's reading all these headline comments.
Yeah, they quickly isolate Mara. Like she's becoming very quickly isolated by obviously that connection with her mom is not as prevalent as it once was because her mom is now the president. Her dad is busy. Her brother is like, busy trying to leverage his newfound fame. And she is kind of just abandoned. And yes, she is like very, very obsessive with the comments on social media, which is like not always the things that you want to obsess over, right? And then nice blue-red color contrast here of like an awake point and a sleep point, where Mara's having nightmares of like impending nuclear war. So much so that she's like, I guess it's a night terror that it wakes up her parents to then wake her up, to kind of like soothe her and calm her down.
And again, having that family dynamic, the mother, like mom and dad are there.
Yeah.
And like, and like her mom just going, Mama's got you.
Yeah, it's really sweet, right? Because you can usually create, and I mean, like we all look at politicians and presidents and senators, all this, but at the end of the day, I mean, like no matter what their handling as their offices, they're humans.
Yeah, there's humanity and parenting and being with the people you actually love.
Yeah, a lot of humanity in this. Cut to some Catholicism. Oh yeah, this is where
Sunday mass happens.
Sunday mass happens. And then I think we find out what's going on here with what was taken. No, I'm sorry. Hold on.
We do find out.
Yeah.
In this section, what happened.
Go ahead.
Oh, So
So,
I didn't know if you wanted I didn't know if you wanted
Yeah,
to keep that as like a spoiler-free situation so for people to read, but essentially Kevin throughout all of mass is just like, let's wrap this up. Let's go. Can we go? All right, I'm ready to go. Geez, this is over. Let's head out. And it's because what he did was he had put the cross upside down
yes.
on the altar. And one of the sisters
Dun,
was
dun.
getting everything ready for morning mass for them, and saw it, and was
Just pearl clutching.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Situation.
essentially like almost killed her
Yeah.
just from the sight of an upside down cross
Oh.
on the altar. And then the father is talking to Madam President and the first gentleman, and is just like, "Oh yeah, it happens all the time. Kids think they're funny." Ha,
Yeah.
ha. And then she gets whisked away because she's the president.
Yeah, and it's at a presidential. I guess she's the president is a strict Catholic. Once more, I love that there's like that Catholic sort of presence in this book. It just makes it.
Makes good juxtaposition.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Look at you, Ty. Ty, this is why you're on the podcast.
Sometimes I say words.
That big word like that. Yeah, we get kind of like the president rushed away. A little kind of briefing here in the presidential office. Back to Mara's room. Mara's doll, and this is a really cool kind of little shadow moment, falls off her desk. There's some creepy things kind of clearly afoot.
And it's not just any doll.
What do you mean? Oh, it's the doll of the mom of the president.
She goes, what did little toy me do to you?
Oh,
weird, it just fell. That's foreshadowing.
I didn't even put that together. I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's the toy version of her mom. And then her mom coming in, knowing, you sense as a parent that your child is distressed, but kind of offering comfort and being like, hey, like, I know we're kind of busy here, but, at some point we're going to have a girls' day, get our nails done, eat our weight in chocolate, and kind of adds a little bit of comfort to her daughter. Cut to next day, Mara in class, chemistry class.
Bunsen burners and all the jazz. The most fun you can honestly have in a science class.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's such a trope too.
It's such a high school trope.
Something happens always in chemistry. Like something's gonna, I feel like that's like a metaphor, right? Something's gonna set something off, or something's gonna create a reaction in the plot.
And it does. The Bunsen burner goes askew. There's I don't know if that's like a cloud of black smoke that is taking demonic shape.
I think I don't think it's black smoke at all. I think if you turn it sideways, it is genuinely
a demon.
Yeah. And I think that is.
But I like the way that they did it there as like the smoke.
Yeah.
And then Mara goes into there's kids that are picking on her and being very rude to her. And then the fire attacks one of the other kids.
Well, she like grabs she blows it on
the
bully.
On the bully. So she like lashes out in a what seems an out of character sort of way, and then begins to seize and puke that
iconic green
exorcist puke. Kevin with his friends, cut to Kevin with his friends, kind of like gloating about, what happened in the altar.
And why she was the target.
Yes. Gets pulled, obviously, suspicions from the priest. Has a talk with Kevin. And then also that's when he reveals that she had like a seizure, or what they think to be a seizure. And then another incident in the PE class, which was the soccer, whatever, and kind of confronting Kevin.
Trying to get information out of him.
Yeah, like what's going on with Mara here? And he's kind of a smug little asshole.
Right. Mm-hmm. And he even brings up, like, was she the one that turned the cross upside down?
Yeah.
And it's like, now he's like kind of worried. He's like, no, she would never do something like that. So that's the only time we see him defend her in this entire book.
Yeah, that is the only time you do see her defend her. A couple more little kind of presidential tropes, seeing the busyness of President Doyle here.
Well, and I think there's a really cool thing here because
Yeah.
this is her first time as president where she's being informed that her daughter had a seizure.
Oh yeah.
She's on her G7 summit. She has to decide to put her kid second because she is the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
She is president. And although she's a mother, the presidency and the Oval Office comes first. And this is the first moment where she struggles with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna assume that's probably gonna be a major struggle within the next 3 issues as well. Because obviously there is something wrong with Mara. As we can see, she cut back to her dad, kind of caring for her, checking on her, talking about how her blood pressure is lower than he'd like. So there is something wrong with her, and there's going to be something wrong with her as we're kind of building to here. And yeah, I guess that's going to be the interest of the book is like, yo, you're the president and your child is demonically possessed potentially.
Right.
And you're Catholic, and
you're
all of
Catholic.
this is coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She makes it very the mom makes it very clear, like, oh, we'll see you next Sunday. And I feel like that might be it too, because if she's the president, she's not going to be there every Sunday. And then she'll get accused of like, well, because you're not going to church,
This is
you're
why
getting
this,
possessed. Yeah.
Or I mean, like, duh, I mean, like, what are you saying? Like, well, my child is possessed. It's like, of course, your child's possessed. You're freaking the devil as the president. It's like, man, I
Yeah,
just
there's
can't.
so many.
All the things that are the political backlash is going to be insane on this one. Kevin with one of his young friends, potential romantic interest, studying in, it looks like a kind of kitchen.
Do you think this is a genuine interest that she has in him? Or
No,
do you
absolutely.
think
No.
she's-
No, he's just.
I just want to make
clout
sure that
chasing.
like we all
Yeah, she even
we're on
said-
the same page with that.
Yeah, she even says like, I've always wanted to see the White House. And
Yeah,
you know
she does,
he's taking
she does,
pictures.
Yeah, she's
For that
around.
clout.
He is giving her a tour of the White House, and then we get back to that creepy study with the weird little Pazuzu statue. And that's the one point where she's like, okay, this room's freaky, definitely my least favorite of the tour so far. But like gets the tour.
Takes a jab at his sister again.
Takes a jab at his freaking sister, man. Turned into a fortress of solitude. I know. Cut back to the president. Okay, so this is an interesting point because this is an ongoing thing in this comic.
Yeah. I had to look this up.
Yeah, I had to look this up too. It's what do they keep calling it? Havana
syndrome.
Havana syndrome, which is a real thing apparently.
Yeah, it started in 2016, I found out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's like pretty recent.
And it's about let's see. Dang, I thought I pulled it out here.
I looked it up. I mean,
yeah, what is it, please?
So and again, this is just the very brief overview from what I've looked at from different sources. They're saying I thought it was like a chemical they were exposed to. So some people were saying it happened in Cuba. That's why they're calling it the Havana syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's from what I'm gathering, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. It's like sometimes it's seizures, it's very agonizing headaches, and it's loss of certain senses.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't see anything from what I read online. Again, this is why I'm not doing a whole lot of research on it. In this book, it kind of pans to he's gone. Like he's died from this syndrome.
Yeah, but I think also the specificness of the Havana syndrome is that it kind of only affects commonly affects let's see. Yeah, people that worked in the US embassy in Havana, Cuba. Yeah. But they're like it's affected like politicians or people working within governments, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. That's an ongoing thing. You had to kind of Google. I had to Google. Yeah, I'm like, what is Havana syndrome? Why is this a thing? But yeah, you're seeing the president kind of struggle with this thing that has not been unleashed into the media yet. But there is like something kind of happening with this Havana syndrome, and some people within the cabinet are involved within her cabinet. I'm not sure. What was this person? Was this like a soldier or?
Yeah, because he mentions it like, hey, like
here's a service agent.
Yeah, it was the other person. It was what's his name? We recently lost an agent to it too. These are
Yeah.
sensitive video files that we'd rather not find their way back to that senator that hates her. Call me after you've watched it. Thank you. I'll make sure to keep a close hold on this. And she watches it on the plane, and that's when you see the black and white video footage of
very disturbing, jarring black and white video footage of the Havana syndrome patient. President Doyle very much kind of shaken by it, rightfully so. Cut to back to Mara just completely obsessed and just deep into the doom scrolling. And at some point, oh yeah, this is where she says it. She was like even praying. She's like, God, please don't judge me for the doom scrolling I'm about to do.
Mhm.
And she's just like obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed, watching bloggers, reading all the comments.
Doomsday global warming hoax, and then the one that sends out Doyle's the literal Antichrist.
Yeah. And then shadowy figure getting thrashed about the room violently, getting held up in that crucifix sort of pose, levitating in the air. Everybody hearing what's happening, and they break in to find her all like distorted and like, you know, I guess like in a seizing like state. And that's where this issue 1 ends. So obviously Mara being a victim of demonic possession.
Real quick, I do want to draw attention. So in the last panel, Kevin notices the cross is upside down on the curtains, and all he says is the cross. And I think that is a great callback to the prank that he pulled on the sister.
I was just gonna say
because that's such a brilliant thing to bring back to it. And the way that he's drawn, looking at that in that like exasperated look is just phenomenal.
Even the word bubbles.
Lettering on this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Have to give credit to the letterer. Once more, adds so much to the book. I'm gonna tell you guys, I am a strong advocate. Sorry, let me fix my glasses, my headphones. I've probably shared this opinion. I don't know if I've shared it with you guys or with people in general. To me, very difficult to pull off exorcism shows, movies. In my opinion, The Exorcist single-handedly created and almost ended a genre.
Yeah.
Because everything else after The Exorcist is always going to be compared to The Exorcist, and nothing is going to live up to that franchise. Last thing that I saw within this genre that I loved, that me and Ty went to go see, and now I own the VHS, was Late Night with the Devil, because I loved it's like the exorcism genre, not in the traditional sense, because every other movie that is a possession film is always just kind of mimicking or recreating The Exorcist. I think was the bigger one that was like earlier in the 2000s, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
Obviously the Exorcist sequels, all the friggin' but none of them. It's still The Exorcist. The first movie of that genre is the standard of that of that genre.
Yeah, because no one was afraid. No, everyone was afraid to like kind of dive into that realm, and they weren't afraid to like say like ridiculous things and like deal with that idea of possession. So in the day, it was
it was like the satanic scare and stuff too at that time and everything.
And I think in the remake they did the spider walk scene, which scarred my brother.
Oh yeah, well no, that was just the extended version.
That was the extended version.
Yeah,
and it's just like some people don't know that, and it's just like they were able to add on to something
that was terrifying
to make it work, like to make it more scary. And it's like, wow, that rarely that happens. Like, oh, here's a deleted scene. It's like, oh, okay, but like that truly that is to a T possession, because other films and other media will copy that.
Fun fact: I watched The Exorcist when I was 6, thanks to my oldest sister and my cousin, and it destroyed me. but maybe added something to me of which I'm such a like horror lover sort of now.
Correct me if I'm wrong though. Like The Exorcist, the movies that we know and we tend to love and hate in all different forms, are all like they just all take place in the house. Like
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
ever leave a house. And I think what I would like this, kind of to your point, like to see this as a short series.
Yeah.
I think what really makes this unique and amazing is that it is a house. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a substantial house.
It's like the most famous house in the country.
Right.
But there's so much more to this story that
Yes.
takes you away from the house.
Yeah.
That I think would truly make this a better series than what we currently have.
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
I think that uniqueness, taking you away from the house, but still having it affect you or affect Mara in this instance, is truly like that piece that everybody was afraid to try and that everyone's missed.
Yeah. I agree. Like I said, so for me now it's The Exorcist.
Mhm.
It's Late Night with the Devil. I friggin' loved because once more took the exorcism genre, put it in a different scenario.
TV
Same
show,
thing with
yeah.
this.
And then this.
The exorcism genre in a very interesting, I mean, election year, right? But everybody, come on, we're all so politically involved in today's day and age.
Go vote.
And and I loved this. This is probably, yeah, I mean, this is gonna be my next favorite thing in this genre. Like, and
Yeah.
it's a comic book, and hopefully once we maybe get some sort of adaptation of it, but if not, I love this for what it is. Which brings me to the question: are we pulling, are we passing, or are we waiting for a trade? For me, I can tell you that this is going in my pull. I need all 4 of these issues. I'll probably buy all the ratio variants at this point. I love it. Just in time for Halloween. If you're looking for something fun, spooky, just in time for Halloween in an election year.
Yeah.
It's like, this is such a perfect book right now. There's nothing that I would be like, oh, I can't nitpick at this at all. It's amazing. And I love it. And it's definitely going in my pull list. Ty, Tom and Jeff, I don't know if you got the explanation of the pull list. I know you're not. Yeah. What's going on? Are you pulling, passing, trade?
Pull list and trade.
Yeah.
100%. And I feel like
Special edition hardcover in this.
that's what I'm
Jam,
saying.
right?
I feel like they have an opportunity to do that. Maybe do like a collector's edition with like,
yeah,
comes with a free cross or something silly.
Ooh.
Or like
looks like a Bible.
Packaging is always
Yeah.
key. But yeah, like you can do so many little trinkets. You can do like lithographs included with this, because this is something I would use our comic capsule for and hang on my wall.
Oh, that's right. We're using
What
our
a
comic
great
capsule.
segue.
Thank you.
Tommy Jeff?
Honestly, it's a poll.
Yeah.
It's a poll. It was that moment where I was in the midst of reading it and I had to look at the cover again.
Yeah.
That really sold me on it. Like I was already sold on it, but like I think that's what solidified it.
So good.
That was that pivotal moment that like just was like, no, I have to. And then the last page alone is also why it's
David, are you David's so over.
David's gone.
David's like, it's been 2.5 hours.
All right. We've been to talk. This is a long one. This is a long book. All right. This is. I love. Look, it's late. The book is The Exorcism at 1600 Penn by Hannah Rose May, Vanessa Del Rey, Jordi Belair, and another name that I'm not going to try to butcher. At your local comic shop, pick it up. Issue 1 just dropped this week. I can't recommend this book a lot. Once more, just in time for spooky season, just in time for election season. Yeah. Anything else we're gonna add on, guys?
I got nothing more except for I can talk and keep David here all night.
Are we keeping David up all night? Does David have to get up for work?
We're not
We started late, David, so he's walking out. All right, folks. Well, you know what? That's going to be the end of this episode. We went very long. Thank you, Tommy Jeff, for filling in. Thank you, David, for staying up past your bedtime. Thank you, Ty, for just being yourself.
Thanks.
And yeah, that's
Thank you for having me.
That's it, folks. Where can I find you, Ty, online?
At Ty Photography, either online on like my website, or hit me up on Instagram. I'm on Instagram way more. I'm gonna try to do a TikTok, but yeah, Instagram.
Tommy Jeff, you can find him here at the Deep Roosters Nerdcast because he's
the only place.
It is an exclusive. He's a Deep Roosters exclusive.
No social media.
That's it. That's it, folks. So that's it for tonight. I don't know if David's he's done cutting. He's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Yeah. Folks,